Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get to today. The Oklahoma City Thunder punched their ticket to the NBA Finals. We've got Game 5 tonight in the East between Indiana and the Knicks. We've got to talk a lot of football with meetings still going on down in Destin. Tiger football news coming out with start time, so news all over the place when it comes to football. Talk some showboats as well. More NBA, more Tigers, a little bit of everything over the next 3 hours. Some baseball as well. Plenty to get to this afternoon. But Brett, how are you today?
Thank you, Brian. I'm doing well. And really a lot of news today, a mountain of college football TV times, expecting a few more tomorrow and all the bowls and the particular dates and times for bowls tomorrow. After the NFL, after they do their thing, and they did it a few weeks ago, then college football always moves after that, particularly the bowls, and we will have it set. But there's also this news out there, I guess kind of with scheduling. Charlie Baker at the NCAA today wants expanded bracket for NCAA tournament.
Of course, it's every year, Brett. We have this conversation all the time, and
it won't be for next year.
No. But it could be shortly after that. Yeah,
sure could.
And who knows? I mean, it feels like we're gonna get there at some point. So it's just a matter of when
how
and
much.
what it looks like. Yeah. So I don't know. You know how I feel about it. But I'll be fine whatever happens. I'll just have to get through it.
We will, and we can't stop it. No matter how much we moan about it or complain about it. But I know less is better.
Oh yeah. I mean, it just feels like you have such a good thing going right now if you are the March Madness tournament. I mean, it's perfectly set up. Everyone's happy with it. There's not many opposed to it.
We've gotten used to Dayton.
Not
wild about it, but we've gotten used to it.
You've gotten used to it. It's kind of become a part of the thing at this point, and it feels right. And then, of course, we've got to expand it and add more teams, and I don't know. I see no reason other than obviously the monetary reasons of expanding the tournament. But those monetary reasons are what drives a lot of decisions.
That would be the death knell for the NIT, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Under almost any circumstances, even with the NCAA running it. I'm opposed to it, but it's not going to be stopped. It's eventually, as you said, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of how many. Earlier in the week, latter part of last week and earlier this week, the conversation from Greg Sankey about some of his members are asking rhetorically. Nobody ever said we're leaving. He said they asked, why are we still in the NCAA? That could almost be a debate type question. We know it's not. I think there's some going, well, let's split this joint. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
That really infuriated the rest of college sports. Why?
I think it's probably, I don't really know the answer, but I think part of it is kind of that idea of, like you said, of this is the SEC, and I think a lot of people look at the SEC and say they think they're better than everybody else, and so that idea of, like you said, I think a lot of people read it of not why are we still in the NCAA?
We're gone.
Let's leave the NCAA. Let's get out of here.
Nobody's packing.
And so I think people read it like that, and of course the SEC is going to say that they're high and mighty. I think that's how a lot of people probably read it.
I think every bit of that is right on. There is that, but I think it's also this. I think a lot of people, maybe covertly, subconsciously, well, that'll ruin the basketball tournament. Well, that'll ruin, March Madness. That'll ruin bracket mania. Even if, and I think we will have a world, I talk about the sea change, 2026, next one's going to be 2031. It's not going to be in 2026. In 31 or into the 30s, you'll be here. You have to tell me all about it someday. We're going to have a world without the NCAA.
Sure.
If you have a world without the NCAA, it's very difficult to have the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
Yeah.
There still will be the tournament. It might be under a different name. It will be under a different name. It will not be under the guise of the NCAA. That bothers people because they're used to their bracket in their lap for 3 weeks.
I haven't even thought about that. But yeah, I mean, you might be on something. And I think it's probably more subconscious than it is outright. But yeah, I think that's probably a little bit of it.
When we get into that 2030s world of no NCAA tournament as we know it, we're going to have a tournament. We're going to have a bracket. But it might not be all those automatic bids.
Yeah, no, it'll probably look a lot different than what
the MAAC
right.
EXO may not get a bid.
Yeah, no, I mean, it will look a lot different. And so, I mean, there's a lot of time before we get there. But it looks like before we get there, we're going to add more teams to the current bracket.
It does. And there's no stopping. It's inevitable of more.
Yeah.
And way back, I've said in this room through these mics forever, I'll be fine when we get to a college football playoff. I'll be fine by it. I'm just telling you, it's not going to be the magic elixir everybody thinks it's going to be. Yeah. There's still going to be we was robbed. There's still going to be we didn't like having to, where we traveled to. We didn't like the bowl we got kind of moved through. It's still going to be loud complainants.
Oh yeah, well, and I think that's what when we went to 12 teams. I think a lot of people go, well, this is going to fix everything. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be great. We went through 1 year of it, and everyone goes, well, there's a lot of problems to that.
Arguably made it worse?
I would say to a lot of people, yeah. I think the criticism of it was far more than I think anybody would have assumed it would be.
I mean, back in, and I know we're not going backwards. I'm with Bobby Knight on NCAA tournament. You know what I want to do?
Yeah.
I want to go to 32 teams.
Yeah, I know.
Not going to happen.
No, certainly not.
I mean, not even going back to 64.
Get to 100 before you go back any.
We'll get to 100 before it goes back one.
That's right.
Before it goes to 67. We'll be at 100. 1977, 78 with Zanio, AP, and UPI sorting it out. People are going to look back, and that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Right now, I can hear people going, no way, no way. Wait till you consistently still don't make this version of it.
Yeah.
You can have a version of college football playoff with 40 teams, and there's a whole bunch of them that aren't going to get in it in 40 teams.
Right.
And they're going to stay just as aggravated.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's the world we live in.
It is.
You can't make everyone happy, and there's always going to be that frustration there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it's always going to be more than it is less from here on out, it feels like.
And Brent Beard has mentioned it a couple times. Gene Stallings, was about ready to quit, was about ready to resign as coach at Alabama when Roy Kramer and Charles Bloom and Mark Womack and Mark Whitworth, several others in the SEC office found the nuanced language of, well, we've gone to divisions, we can have a championship game now, and we can make a lot of money from it. Gene Stallings had a fit.
Holy cow.
He groused that whole fall of 92, and he was almost right. He said, what if I go undefeated and I lose in that game and that costs me playing for a national championship? And he almost did. He was as mad after winning that game, the Antonio Langham famous pick six, and I'm standing in that end zone that Antonio Langham scored in, and they've done the documentary on SEC Network about it. He was mad post-game at just being pushed that close to, and then had to get ready for the Mighty U in the Sugar Bowl. And
That's
he trounced
fantastic.
them, and he won it all, but still was mad over it.
That's hilarious. And that feels like ancient history in terms of where we're moving, in terms of playoffs and as a sport as a whole. Right. That feels like forever ago.
That was 92. That was my first year.
Yeah.
That was my first fall here. It was revolutionary to have that game. But even for me, that does feel like, that could have been Fielding Yost against Luke Rockne.
And that's the crazy thing. 1992, if you said that year to most people, they go, that wasn't that long ago. But look at where we're at as a sport today from 1992, and it's night and day different.
It is.
And it's just always evolving in, just lightning speed, it feels like.
Did you see one of those SEC dates, the triple header? And it is classic. There's going to be a triple header on Saturday, September 13th.
Okay.
Is that my right date? anyway, in the afternoon, Wisconsin and Alabama at 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
Also at 2:30 on AB. Also that same day, I think I have this right. Georgia and Tennessee also playing that day. That night, LSU and Florida.
Wow. Okay.
That's some heavyweights.
That's a good day of action right there.
And of course, did you see the Ohio State Michigan time?
No, I didn't.
11 o'clock.
Of course. Big noon. I mean, and Ohio State not happy about it.
And we are very conditioned to that game.
Oh, yeah.
On a cold gray day, and I say that there wasn't a cloud in the sky the day I was there. It was perfect. I'm so glad I went to that game.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And was able. I know one day. I don't want to make too much about it, but to see how much it moved those people, because I'm steadfast in this. But for the fate of where you grow up, I mean, if I'd have grown up in Ely Rye, Ohio, I'd be Mr. Big Ten guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'd have a goofy accent to be in Ely Rye, Ohio. But you could feel it means as much to them as it does to us. I know it just means more, and I know we love it a lot, and it matters a lot. It matters to me a lot. But you could tell. Those, I had a kinship with those people.
It is incredible to either go other places outside of kind of our neck of the woods.
It's good for you,
or see that type of stuff and see kind of how different it is. I talk about it. I'm sitting here wearing my Seattle Kraken pullover, and I pay attention to Seattle sports. And I remember the Will Levis draft, and they're doing Seahawk draft prep, and they're going. One of the guys goes, I think it was one of the producers goes, "Yeah, I saw a mock draft the other day, and it has the Seahawks drafting that Kentucky quarterback. What's his name?" And nobody. I mean, here we would have been like, "What are you crazy?" Will Levis.
Well, he was right.
He was right. And then the whole time they never talked about him as a player. They just talked about, I think he likes mayonnaise in his coffee. Like that's strange. I don't know if I want that in a quarterback.
He played like it.
Yeah, he sure did. And so it's just, up there, they're obviously back then it was Pac-12. It was crazy Pac-12. Now it's more Big Ten and kind of everywhere.
And I bet if we went to Apple Cup now, it's in the middle of the year. It's not at the end.
Yeah.
But I bet that you would feel that really matters.
Same. And it's just crazy to see how different it is in different places. But you're right; those rivalry games, they are they're huge.
There was neither a Big Ten nor a Pac team at the one Rose Bowl I got to go to. It was Georgia Oklahoma national semifinal game in the college football playoff. But for a long time, I kind of scoffed at Big Ten guy more than anything else that would speak so reverently about, with such reverence about the Rose Bowl, and to go to it, I got it.
Granddaddy of them all.
And especially for those people escaping for 6 or 7 days, that weather to go out there to that.
It is quite literally a vacation for them in every sense of the word. But no, it was fun. I mean, seeing a lot of those times being announced. We'll get to Tiger times that were released.
And can visit with Greg about it. But
yeah, definitely. But it was fun to kind of think of, okay, well, that day, where can I be at? What can I be watching? Should I go to this game? It was a lot of fun seeing those times come
I'm
out.
right with you. I loved being able to know and plan my life. Yeah. And if we have somebody out there right now going, man, you must not have a lot going on in your life that you're that worried. Well, you're right. I may not, but this is what I love, and I make no apologies for it.
Well, I love, and again, we'll get to it a little bit later. We'll talk about it with Greg. We'll probably get to it around 5:30 during what's trending. But seeing the Georgia State game at 6 o'clock at night, huge, because that is a drive. Can drive down there that day, and either stay that night or have a long night driving back. That'd be fun.
And that's on the road.
Yeah, that's on the road in the old Brave Stadium. So I am
at the TED.
Yeah, so I'm planning on going to that game. That will be a lot of fun.
Hosted opening and closing ceremonies and all the track and field events at the 96 Olympics. That was the scene of the very moving moment of Muhammad Ali with the flame lighting the cauldron.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make that trip in the fall. And
I only made it to the TED one time. It was weird. I was not working for Ole Miss then, but I was stringing for games week to week, and had Ole Miss at Auburn the next day. So kind of went through Atlanta, and that Friday night, the Rockies were there playing baseball against the Braves. So, and I knew somebody with Braves PR, got credentialed, and interviewed Todd Helton. He had just been called up end of the year, 40-man roster at the end of the year, and interviewed him, and he unloaded. I asked him the difference between Heath Schuler and Peyton Manning, and he unloaded on Heath Schuler. I turned the mic off. I said, you know this is a microphone. He said, keep rolling. I turned it back on. He unloaded on Heath Schuler. So this was 97, and said Peyton Manning is going to end up being one of the 3 or 4 best NFL quarterbacks ever.
Holy cow. Spot on. I mean, he was he knew what he was talking about then. That is a really cool story. But no, a lot of news coming out of the college football world, a lot of times, dates, channels, all of that coming out this afternoon. Well, we got a busy show, so let me break it down before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Steve Macy with the Showboats. He'll join us in the next segment. We'll talk boats. Final game of the season this weekend against the Birmingham Stallions. We'll talk about last week's game. We'll talk about this weekend's game and what to expect getting out there one last time this year to support the Showboats. We'll talk to Steve in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball. Weird day, Major League Baseball. Only 5 games on the schedule, and a pair of them part of a doubleheader. So really only 4 games going on today. So a very small Thursday, but a lot of action last night. Some good series getting started tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk about that at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He'll join us to talk the NBA. Plenty to get to with him. Conference finals and a lot of offseason news and potential trades out there for the NBA offseason. 4:30, Trey Schapp from 103.7 The Buzz. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of SEC with him, with the meetings going on down in Destin. It feels like soon we will get some big news. College football with the playoffs and SEC news.
Will we?
Feels like it. I mean, they got to make a decision at some point with,
they like
with
to
the
meet,
playoffs.
don't they?
I don't know if they'll make it from these meetings, but they've got to make some decisions soon, it feels like. Hopefully one of these days we'll get some news. But we can ask that question to Trey when he joins us at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us to talk Tigers. So much to talk about with him. Obviously, some of these times for football, got to talk a little football with him, but also PJ Haggerty, new additions to Tiger basketball, a lot of Tiger hoops to talk about with Greg at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pools starting at $19.99 installed, with liner starting at $299, and all pool accessories now up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99, with swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. Don't forget about the patio furniture. Select sets now up to 50% off. And if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. And we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Our producer is Landon Schmidt for this Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Always from our Family Leisure studios. And always brought to you this hour by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. 26 is on the way, some of them very soon. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of that all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is the NBA Conference Finals. Last night, the Thunder punched their tickets to the NBA Finals with a 124-94 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just a really impressive showing once again for the Thunder. Outscored the Timberwolves 26-9 in the first quarter. Only 9 points scored by the Timberwolves, and this has kind of become tradition for the Thunder. They did it against Denver, holding them to 8 points in one of the games in the previous rounds. That defense has shown time and time again how good it is. They force a lot of turnovers, and they're able to create that into opportunities on the other end. Another really big game for SGA, and really it's who wants to step up per game. Last game it was Jalen Williams. This game, Chet had a big game. It was really everybody pitching in, and really late in the game they didn't really need anybody. You saw a lot of bench guys for both teams come in, because it got to the point where the Thunder, with about 6 minutes left in the game, they're up by 34 points. It's just, all right, let's wave the white flag and get this over with. So the Thunder now sit and wait to see who they will face off against in the NBA Finals, and they might get that answer later tonight with the Pacers up 3-1 against the New York Knicks. Now it will be in Madison Square Garden. I am curious to see what MSG looks like with the Knicks down 3-1 in a win or go home game. I think, and Vegas certainly thinks, that New York has a good opportunity to win tonight. New York right now a 4.5-point favorite at home to extend this series, but in the grand scheme of things, it feels like the Thunder right now are not scouting for the Knicks. They're scouting for the team up 3-1. That's the Indiana Pacers. It's going to be Smallville for the NBA Finals, but it does feel like two teams that could make it a very entertaining NBA Finals.
John Cougar Mellencamp was born in a small town.
Well,
it's his series, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
This will be a great debate, regardless if it's Indiana or Oklahoma City winning it. So 7 straight different champions. Of that 7 different, who's likely to get another one next?
That's a great question.
Oklahoma City could go on some run.
I was about to say, you look at this group with OKC, they feel like the answer.
Could be the start of something.
Sure could.
My top story, 31 points, 38 points, 40 points, 34 points. That's what MVP of the league, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, what he did in the Oklahoma City 4 wins over the next face of the league, to many, Ant. Next face of the league, he's on his way to the NBA Finals. This SGA. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in little old Oklahoma City. We once dreamed of Ja the Magnificent leading us that far, but he wasn't responsible enough on or off the court.
Yeah.
SGA's done it.
SGA has done it. It's been impressive to watch him and his star power and how it's gone from, getting drafted, getting sent to the Clippers, being traded from the Clippers to the Thunder, and now definitely has superstar written all over him.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is these game times coming out around college football. I mentioned it earlier. It's fun seeing all of it kind of in May, trying to plan out your fall and how are these Saturdays going to go for
no time like the fall.
No, oh man, it is the best. But for the Tigers, 6 start times announced earlier today. Week 1 against Chattanooga, a home game, will be 3:30. Will be televised on ESPN Plus. Week 2 on the road at Georgia State, 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Week 3 at Troy, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
That could be a toaster at Simmons Bank Stadium.
On the road.
It's at Troy.
Yeah,
it will be a toaster.
Yeah, it will be a warm one.
And Troy's kind of on the plains down there around Auburn.
They kind of are. And then you jump all the way to Week 10 at Rice, a Friday night game, 6 p.m. on ESPN2. Tulane at home, another Friday night game, Week 11, 8 p.m. on ESPN. And then another Thanksgiving Day game for the Tigers, hosting Navy Thanksgiving night, 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. So now, we already knew that they were going to be playing on Thanksgiving Day, but now we know Tigers back-to-back years, they'll be in that primetime spot on ESPN on Thanksgiving night.
Anchors away with a potential legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. That quarterback in Navy.
That could be a huge one in terms of, late in the season, conference championship, who could go, who could be out. That could be a big one on Thanksgiving.
Could sort out a lot. My not top story, still waiting for actual decisions down in Destin. Some certainty. When are we going to have that? Okay, we got TV times. We got the all-important tiebreaker changes for women's basketball. All those TV times, they could have sent that out by carrier pigeon. We could have had a telegram for all that. But Greg Sankey, he better he better lead. The criticism's going to be blistering no matter what he decides, no matter what he will do, and he just has to have a thick hide. The national commentariat is going to devour him. He just has to lead.
Yeah, he does. You are absolutely right about that. Well, do top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we return, we're talking showboats with Steve Macy.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? You have it covered at Humdinger. It's quick, it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
K4 SEL 39894, MSRP 25840, K5 S5312 782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, the scoop is you get a 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than a latte a day at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Less than $6 a day at $169 a month. Plus a 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $185 a month. Got a big family? 2025 Telluride EX front wheel drive seats at 8 and has more power and larger cargo area than a Nissan Pathfinder. That's 2025 Telluride EX, $378 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough from everyone home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. But after looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and the staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342.
There's no place like home, Town Village.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's a crash over here on 40 westbound, right near Jackson, Austin P off-ramp. Again, it's involving a tanker truck. He's turned sideways into the wall on 40 westbound. Again, just before you get up to Austin P Highway. Of course, the heaviest flow of traffic this time of day is going eastbound over on that side of town. Speaking of eastbound, it's been slow on I-40 East trying to get across or up to the Hernando de Soto Bridge coming over from Crittenden County, West Memphis. They've been doing some emergency road work there on I-40 eastbound again before you get to the Hernando de Soto Bridge coming over from West Memphis has been really slow. Weibert's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them now and shop local at Weibert's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And every Thursday we talk showboats, and Steve Macy joins us to talk the boat. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. One more home game left for the showboats this season. It's this weekend. I was driving down the road with one of my buddies that lives out of town, and he saw a billboard, $2 dogs, $2 beers. He goes, oh man,
good deal.
I know where I'm going this weekend. So one more opportunity for fans to get out outside of the $2 dogs, $2 beers. What can people expect for the game this weekend?
It's obviously it's our last game, and we're really excited about it. And a chance for us to sweep the Stallions this week.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's Sunday at 2:00, and really just excited to have this final home game and a chance to win 3 of our last 5 and end the season on a good note.
It's really been a year of real close, almost, but you wrap it up this week, and Birmingham, they're headed to the playoffs, so you can ding them up going to the playoffs, can't you?
No, I think it's a great opportunity for our guys. And look, there's been a lot of change this year, and being able to end on a high note is a really big opportunity for these guys. I think they're pretty hungry to get that home victory. They're hungry to show that there's been some improvement in the team, and to show that the offense can move the ball, and the defense has been stout all year. I mean, I can't say enough about the defense. It was an area that was really a weakness last year, and this year has been just an absolute plus. Other than turnover margin, the defense has really, really been the strength of the team this year.
And, Steve, another great year of TV ratings, but live gate. We got Sunday to finish this year. What will you do? What will you tell the UFL business side that we can do next year and get more people in there?
Well, I think it's a couple things. And, we're a college football town most of all, and that is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's when we're used to playing games. I think even, when I used to look at the data when I worked at the university on Sunday basketball games, we'd see a 30 to 35% decrease in attendance. We knew that on Saturdays, night games performed significantly better than day games. And so, one of the things that we pushed for last year, and unfortunately we weren't successful in getting it, but we will continue to push for, I want as many Saturday afternoon, evening, night games as humanly possible, starting with night games, whether it's the Friday night games on Fox or the Saturday nights when they're available. There weren't a lot of Saturday night windows, to be blunt, on the TV, but, we'll push for as many night games as possible, and as few Sundays as possible would be kind of the two things that I'd like to request from a scheduling standpoint. On a marketing standpoint, I think that fireworks work. Obviously, you need to have night games for that, but that would be something we would want to do. Gate giveaways to increase the opportunities for those to happen, and just to continue to let us make the game days fun. Let us promote how much the Kids Zone is a great opportunity for families to come and get their face painted, and all the things that we can, the inflatables and kicks and throwing the ball and all the things we have in the fan zone for kids. Promote that. Continue to promote that we have great concession prices, not just $2 that we have this week, but even all season long we had $5 concessions. So we've tried to make it such a great family affordable opportunity for the fan base and for the community to really come out and have fun over that 3-hour time frame. We want to continue to push that and really have the marketing dollars focused on what it's like to come to Showboats game instead of, I think we've been a little football centric. The marketing plan, the marketing from the league has been more of the football you love. Get more of football. That's what spring football is. It's something that you already love, and here's more of it. And I don't think that resonated this year. So we've got to work on kind of our branding from the league to say, let's push the things that are about our game day, that are very unique, that are fun, that make people, when people leave our games, they say, man, that was a lot of fun. Wish the team had won, or I wish we played better, but we really had a good time.
Yeah. You mentioned trying to get as many night games as possible. What does that process look like with the UFL? Are they getting with the teams and trying to figure out what works best for y'all, what works best for us? I think we've talked about before, it felt like for a while there, every Friday night, it felt like the Birmingham Stallions were on television. Obviously, back-to-back champions, you want them on Fox in a prime time. But what does that process look like in terms of them figuring out where we're putting games and what teams play where?
It's hard. Bluntly, Brian, it's a function of a couple things. Facility availability, like for San Antonio, and they only got 4 home games this year because the Dome just wasn't available for long stretches of time because of NCAA tournament, Final Four they had some other events, a rodeo. There were literally only 4 dates that they were available for them to have a home game, so they had to play both of their games against St. Louis in St. Louis. So, I complained a little bit about our game times, but at least I got 5 games in. So that you start with that. So all of a sudden, San Antonio, those 4 dates, they had to have home games. D.C. shares their stadium with a soccer club, and the soccer club has some real rules about when their turf can be torn up and how many days. And so they had very limited number of availables that they could play the games. St. Louis and Detroit both have with their facility. There's a lot of other events. So they had limited availability. So they start with a grid that has availability. And us in Birmingham had a lot of available dates. We were easy to work with. And unfortunately for me and for the showboats and our fans is that what was left were some of the times that weren't as advantageous for us. And then on top of that, then TV comes in and selects the games they want based on the search criteria that they have worked on between ABC and Fox. And we ended up with what we got. And, we're just going to continue to fight. I might fight a little harder than I fought last year, knowing that, the request wasn't strong enough of a request, and say, hey, look, this is really important that we get some night games here so that we can show what the Memphis crowd can do when we play at night.
And Steve, you know this, but here's something else you can fight with going forward. The stadium will be completed. You've had a tough draw. The first year, everybody had kind of one eye on starting the construction. Years 2 and 3 were in the teeth of the construction. Next year, you'll have I think by your opening day, it might be close by your opening day, but I think you'll have a finished product, won't you?
The plan still is for that to be operational with the Tigers 2025 season. So our season next year, 2026, our season next year will still be a construction zone. But we'll be able to see how far this is getting along and how great it looks. And look, I believe that this stadium project is a wonderful thing for the city. I think it's wonderful for the Tigers. It's great for the other tenants that are going to be in there. And it's going to be something that's going to be looked at, and I think TV is going to make it look spectacular, and it's going to be a great little commercial for our city. But, ultimately, it's going to be great when that's done. It isn't ideal to have a stadium that's under construction, but at the same time, bluntly, we're not filling all the seats anyway, so it hasn't impacted us in our ability to generate more dollars because we haven't sold the place out, and we need to continue to focus on selling the seats that we do have access to.
Steve, you know this market very well, and you know every square inch of that property out at the old fairgrounds. You know it very well. We have Tiger TV times today. When you were at the University of Memphis, what was the TV time if you could have had it at this time? 7 home games. What was ideal?
6 p.m. on Saturday.
No doubt.
It's just it's now I would say if the games were only 3 hours like ours are, where you can kind of set your clock to it, versus the 4.5 hours that a college game tends to be, 7 o'clock would be just as acceptable. But that 6 o'clock time slot, those that want to tailgate, they don't have to be there at the crack of dawn to tailgate. They've still got plenty of time to get up, do whatever they're going to do during the day, have lunch, and then come out and set up and have a good 4-hour tailgate. If you have kids' activities during the day, you've got plenty of time to get through those, finish those up, come home, change, get to the game, still have some time to tailgate and go. Then, it's an evening game, and, it's a little bit cooler, and the sun goes down, and I think that place under lights looks a lot better than it does during the day. It's just something about the lights and how the Liberty Bowl looks with the blue lights on the outside. It's just something special. And then if you want to do something like a fireworks show post game, and even, fireworks that go off after touchdowns show up at night, it is such a better atmosphere at nighttime. I always would pick, if you give me 6 o'clock on a Saturday, that's the very best chance of generating the biggest possible crowd, regardless of who you're playing. So all things being equal, 6 o'clock on Saturday is the sweet spot.
Even before the wave of everything on TV, Bob Wynn was instrumental. Steve, there was a time that 7:30, even 8 o'clock Saturday night kicks at the old Liberty Bowl, and Bob pushed hard. Let's get to 6 o'clock. That way, all the news hits can be done out there leading up to the start of the game, and then they have all their packages done and can report from there with the game completed.
Yeah, I think that's another great point. And at 6 o'clock, if you've got young kids, you got plenty of time to get them home and get them to bed. So yeah, the 6 o'clock time would be ideal. I think it gives us the best chance of success, and we've asked for that, and we'll see how that goes. There's got to be the TV windows that match up, and as you look at how many night games there were, most of those night games were on that Friday night, which I would also take. I'd love a Friday night game. I think it'd be a lot of fun. The college game has moved into some Friday nights, and I don't think it's impacted the Tigers negatively, and I think the community would respond well to it. Yes, it impacts how long you can tailgate and some of the fun that's around it, but at the same time, it's a weekend night, and you can sleep in the next day if you need to.
Steve, one year early in his tenure at Ole Miss, we had a afternoon game that was poorly attended, and Lane Kiffin was hot over it. And he asked me, he said, "Why do you think so few people here, on Labor Day weekend in the afternoon?" I said, "Well, Coach," I was trying to make an excuse. I said, "Well, Coach, it's also opening weekend of dove season." He said, 10,000 people are dove hunting?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I could see Lane Kiffin not loving that answer from you, Brett. But hey, at least you tried. That's all,
I was trying.
That's all that matters. Steve, you mentioned it, last game of the season and the opportunity. 2 wins on the season. Both of them were on the road. You get an opportunity to sweep Birmingham, get a home win to end the season. Tell people what they can expect on Sunday afternoon. Obviously, the $2 beer, $2 dogs. How can people get tickets? Tell us everything we need to know about Sunday's game.
Yeah, so gates open at 1 o'clock, parking lots open at 10 a.m. Come out and really enjoy it. The weather looks spectacular, 82 and sunny. Really excited about that as a weather forecast. Kids 12 and under are free. Yes, the $2 hot dogs and $2 beers, we're serving that in the stadium. Tickets can be garnered at uflshowboats.com, uflshowboats.com, or you can come right to the stadium and get them on the spot. We've also got a deal that's starting tomorrow. We'll have no Ticketmaster fees online for 48 hours. So no Ticketmaster fees online starting tomorrow. That's, again, at uflshowboats.com. You click on tickets, and you can take advantage of that special as well.
Oh, that's a great deal. Everyone hates the Ticketmaster fees.
Yeah, they do.
So that is,
that
is awesome.
Brian, is one of those things that, rears its ugly head for all of us in the sports world. And, this is one of the things that the UFL has said, we're going to pick up the fees. Ticketmaster's not doing us any favor.
Right.
This is the UFL is paying for this.
That's awesome.
And so, we're trying some different things to make every part of our game a little more fan-friendly, and this is one of those opportunities.
That's awesome. That really is good to hear from the UFL. Well, Steve, as always, thanks so much
Steve,
for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week.
And see you Sunday.
Hey, guys, I've really enjoyed it this season. I appreciate you letting me have a chance to come on and talk to Showboats and talk about the city and what a great sports city we are. I appreciate what you guys do and how you promote our city and the sports that are part of it. It's a treat to be with you for this 10-week stretch, and can't wait till we make the playoffs next year. We can have at least one more week of this.
Anything for you, Steve
Absolutely.
Macy. Anything.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
Go Boats.
You got Steve Macy with the Showboat. Sunday afternoon wraps up year 3 of this UFL, and looking forward to it. And I do think so. It's going to impact him next year. I do think there's something out there. A second subconscious reference today. I took psychology fall of 1983, but
did you good? Obviously,
no psychiatrist or sociologist am I.
Yeah.
I think I took sociology too.
There you go.
But renovations going on.
Yeah. Oh, it scares people.
And it's why I'm not taking too many great attendance takes from Showboats or the Tigers until it's a finished product.
Yeah, it's a great point. No psychologist am I either, but I've found myself.
Did you take psychology?
I never took a psychology class. I probably would have loved a psychology class, but I never ended up taking one. But
fall of '83 in Memorial Hall on Maple.
Good class. Would you recommend it?
Real good.
Okay, I love it.
Good solid B too.
Well, hey, that's all that matters at the end of the day. I found myself at times, whether it was during the Tiger season or with the Showboats, I think it was really when it started during the Tiger season. Man, I don't know if I really want to get out
There's
there.
something to it.
And all that. You get out there, it's not even an issue.
It's not.
I mean,
it really isn't.
It's not, but just that idea of construction's going on. You always think delays, long lines, hard to get in and out. It's really not an issue, but you're right. It scares people off.
Steve Macy joined us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. That location is great at Sissy's Log Cabin at Poplar and Perkins in Laurelwood at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his great team here to stay, and they're big supporters of everything locally, like Tigers Athletics, an official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies. They are the Mid-South. They have the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings, 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. I beg you, stop by just to see just the Rolex part of the store inside that. That's something like you would see on Michigan Avenue in Chicago or on Park Avenue in New York City. Since 1970, with all the great locations across the Mid-South, Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. The official jeweler for the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to a break. When we return, we got to talk some baseball. That's next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom-made solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Gossett Volkswagen's got it going on, so get over to Covington Pike and you'll save big on 2025 Jetta S. We Gossett $299 a month, $299 a month for Jetta. How about 2025 ID4S Limited, $399 a month, $399 a month for ID4S Limited. And feel the vintage vibes in 2025 ID Bus for less. Electric Bus, $599 a month. Plus, Gossett Volkswagen has lower cost of maintenance across 2024 and 2025 lineups compared to 2024 Toyota or Honda. So make the smart choice. Get to Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, online, GossettVWMemphis.com. Gossett is charging forward and charging less every day. If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Volkswagen. MSRP 24125, ID4 SC00 2503, MSRP 47261, Buzz SHO 13379, MSRP 61980, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license, CD for complete details, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Grand. Watch all the big games on all the TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos, and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99, and margaritas start at $4.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Grand. Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, So you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses in any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone, call 901-406-1101. It's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. Bill and I buy houses.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Brent Stark, Sports Movie, and Brian Davis.
Well, it's a weird day in Major League Baseball. Only 5 games.
Weirder than my sociology final story?
No, not quite. That was an all-timer. That is not allowed for radio consumption. But that was a great story. But no, it's a weird day in Major League Baseball. Usually Thursdays you get a handful of games, usually day games, middle afternoon games as those teams try to wrap up series and get on the road for their next one. But today, very different. Only 5 games, one of them part of a doubleheader. So really, it should have only been 4 games today. And all of them, except for the part of the doubleheader, are 5:45 or later tonight. So all night games, I believe 2 of them are series starting, and then 2 of them are series ending. So, very weird schedule today, but the Phillies already have a win in the books, 5-4 over the Braves. They'll play game number 2 at 5:45 later tonight. But just when I saw that last night, I was like, this is strange. I don't like this.
This one plays out different today. Game 1 of that doubleheader already in the books. It's still just way too early to have any big conclusions. But Braves need to start playing better.
Yeah. Well, and you know how crazy it's been. Just
Do you think they will get hot and make the push?
Yeah, I think they will. I think you look at what were we talking about a week ago, 2 weeks ago of, hey, man, look, they're right around 500. They're about to get Spencer Strider back. They're about to get Acuna back. And, Acuna had those 2 home runs to start, but he's still trying to find his groove. Spencer Strider certainly still trying to find his groove. But for a pitcher that long being
tonight's
out,
starter, Chris Sale.
Yeah, Chris Sale. That's another big name that you need to get, see perform better. So I think they've got talented guys on this roster. I think they're a very talented team. Now, the question is this isn't just, hey, can the Braves get better? Will they get hot? How do they finish the season? You're in a division with the Phillies
get too far
and
back.
the Mets. It's always a challenge. And now, you look up, you're 10.5 games back from the Phillies, 2.5 games back from the Mets. You can't keep dropping games or you're going to be in really tough shape. And even the Nationals, I know they're really struggling right now, but they've shown at times this year they can go out and get big wins. So if you're the Braves, you've got to turn it up soon, or you're going to be in kind of no man's land.
If the playoffs started tonight, which would be really odd
Very
for
strange.
May 29th,
Yes.
I know that St. Louis Cardinals would be in the wild card by themselves, not even any tie or anything.
Cardinals playing good ball right now. Another win last night over the Orioles. The day off today, so that was a. I remember talking about the Kentucky Derby and that sloppy track they were on. That was a sloppy playing field last night. I mean, it was.
How the grounds crew last night, they worked double overtime.
They sure did.
They put out more of that drying solvent.
Yeah, I was.
Probably the whole year's budget was applied last night at Camden Yards.
There were times I was like, they're not going to get this this game, man. This is not going to happen. But for the Cardinals, get that win now on the road against a Rangers team, and we'll see what they can do on the road.
Rematch of the 2011 World Series.
Yes.
Before you saw the light.
Before I saw the light, when I was once a Rangers fan. Yes. So brings up bad memories for me. Brings up great memories for you.
The single greatest sports moment of my life.
Still remember where I was.
Game 6. I remember where I was.
You remember where
Section
you was.
152.
Yeah, I think I was at one of the games, one of the big games. I don't know if it was that game, but one of them I was at a Germantown High School football game, and they talked about it.
That was the Freeze home run.
That's what
Thursday
I thought.
Night.
That's what I thought. And they were giving the live score update on the PA. And
good for them.
So I was like with my buddies. I was like in middle school. I was with my buddies.
Right there tells you we're in Cardinals country.
Oh yeah.
At a high school football game to be given an update.
Right. Yeah. And giving updates.
They're not giving an update of Phillies,
certainly not.
Seattle World Series.
Certainly not. And so I'm sitting there, and they're like, Cardinals, and I was like, no, with my buddies. Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, this is the worst day of my life, and now I'm a Cardinals fan.
There you
Good
go.
Lord, it's weird, but some fun series tomorrow. I mean, I mentioned Cardinals and Rangers. You got some of these other series. I mean, Brewers Phillies could be a really good series to keep an eye on.
Sure will.
Red Sox Braves. Those are two teams that really need to get it going. A lot of people high on the Red Sox. Obviously, Braves. You're waiting to see what they can do.
I wasn't on the Red Sox. Landon, you were. You were big on the Red Sox.
Landon was real big on the Red Sox.
In the preseason. The injuries have kind of hit them all at once, too.
It's been really bad injury-wise for them. So, we'll see if they can bounce back. Tigers-Royals should be a good one. And then the big one that all eyes will be on all weekend, Yankees and Dodgers, of course. Those big teams, the rematch of the World Series. That will be fun all weekend. But tomorrow night, you got to have Apple TV Plus if you want to watch it.
Yeah,
So,
I don't.
You won't be watching tomorrow night's game. You'll catch up on Saturday and Sunday.
Poor Rockies. They're on pace to win 26.
Is that right? Yeah, it's bad.
26.
It's real
Steve
bad.
Carlton won 27 in 72 for a 59-win Phillies team. Think of that.
But how about this? Their last 4 games have all been 3 of them have been 1-run games, and one of them was a 2-run game. So they're playing close. They just aren't winning. I don't know what that gets you.
You know what close counts?
Nothing.
Parallel parking and slow dancing.
Yeah, well.
I thought it was grenades and horseshoes.
Horseshoes, yeah. Except my mother, she uses that. That's one of her favorite phrases, but she's a teacher, so she cannot use hand grenades
No.
in school. So it's
well, don't pay attention to Jaw.
It's horseshoes. It's horseshoes and something else that she uses, but I don't remember. Certainly horseshoes.
Steve Carlton won 27 for a 59-win team.
It's crazy. That's insane. And
the Rockies may not win 27 as a team.
That's a great question. That is going to be one thing I look at the end of the season. Who is the leading pitcher in wins for the Rockies?
What's the team banquet look like?
Well, good Lord.
Who's MVP?
When you look at the end of the year,
who's Team Spirit Award on that team?
I mean, very few you can give it to. But who is the guy that has the most wins, and what is that number? Because it cannot be very big if we're only shooting for mid-20s of total wins. I mean, it's just a mess, and they'll have to face the Mets now, and I'm sure it won't get any better for them. Well, we need to wrap up hour number 1. When we return, we're talking all things NBA. Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show, he joins us next.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Total membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. For the best barbecue, Southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
I
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is, and has been for a long time, to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's been a little bit tricky on and off today, trying to get over from West Memphis with some road work on 40 eastbound before you get to the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Again, coming over from Crittenden County has been a little bit slow the last couple of hours as traffic tries to build through Midtown in a couple of spots. I-40, especially here up by Chelsea. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions in Memphis says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions right now at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now to talk the NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. Keith, a lot to get to this afternoon, all things NBA, but I do want to start with the Memphis Grizzlies. All eyes locally were on the All-NBA team announcements last Friday. Would Jaren Jackson make one of the teams? We know financially that would have been big for him to make, would have meant that max extension contract for him. He misses out. I think he was the second out of receiving votes from the third team. What did you make of Jaren Jackson missing out on All-NBA, and what does that mean for the Grizzlies going into this offseason and into next year trying to get an extension for him?
Yeah, as far as him not making All-NBA, I think when his play slipped in the latter part of the season, and then the Grizzlies' play as a team slipped as well, that kind of killed his chances. I think that was when we hit those last little bit of the year, and it just, he was good, but wasn't quite as good. I know he had a pretty good March, but it was the February and the April part around that wasn't quite as solid. That just kind of sunk him, and then the team not winning as much was really tough as well. So now, financially, yeah, for Memphis, now it gets really tricky, right? They can play some salary cap gymnastics, create a little bit of cap space, about $6-7 million, and then what they can do is they can use that to tack on to Jackson's contract for next year. That's about $23 million. So let's just round it, say they're going to bring him up to $30 million. Then they can extend him off that, and that comes close to replicating the likelihood of where they would have been on a deal had he qualified for the designated player type of or designated player extension rather. There for him though, he may look at that and say, that's still not really enough. I want a little bit more, and he may say, I'd rather try to have a better year next year, make All-NBA, maybe win Defensive Player of the Year, qualify again for a new designated contract, and then we can go forward from there. So they've certainly got some decisions to make now moving forward with Jaren Jackson Jr., as well as the rest of the roster as a whole.
Keith, how good is Jaren Jackson?
I think he's really good. I think he has some limitations as far as I don't know that you're going to be a super high-level team if you're having to run everything through him offensively. I think there are some limitations there. But if he's your second or third option on offense, you're probably a pretty good team. And ideally, on a healthy Grizzlies team, that's where he falls, behind John Morant and Desmond Bane. And then defensively, we know he's terrific on that end of the floor. I don't know that he's a true one-man system anchor like some of the other guys are, but he can certainly be a big, big part of a really good defense and put together an all-defense level type of season. So I think he's a really, really good player. I don't know that he is somebody I would want to hand a max contract to, and I don't know how many teams are going to do multiple max contracts moving forward with the issues that can cause you with your roster building with the tax and the aprons and the like. But I do think Jackson's worth getting handsomely paid on his next deal, something in the range of 35 to 40 million or so.
I was sent a story yesterday from Bleacher Report talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and NBA teams that could make surprise trade push for Giannis. 5 teams were listed in this story: the Detroit Pistons, Philadelphia 76ers, Portland Trail Blazers, Toronto Raptors, and the Memphis Grizzlies. When talking about the Grizzlies, it talked about how you could make a trade centered around either Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., that you've got young players, you have a lot of picks after this season, and that you have the salary in terms to make the deal work. How likely, how good of trade pieces do the Grizzlies have to go out there and try to swing for Giannis?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking Jackson or Bane or Morant at the very least has to be a part of that, plus multiple draft picks, plus other guys, right? Because, one, your issue is you just have to get to the matching salary alone.
Right.
And the matching salary for Giannis is about $54 million if you're doing the trade in the next league year. So in order to get there, you're talking, all right, and I'm just using John Morant because he's at the biggest salary on the team, but at $39.5 million, you still need to get to $15 million more just to match salary on that. And that's now you start talking. All right, well that's like Brandon Clark and John Conchar, and then a bunch of draft picks or something like that. If you're trading out Jaren Jackson Jr., that's $23 million. That's like you're not even halfway there yet. So that's one of the issues is you got to get there to match the salary for him in trade. So that's a big number to get there, and then, of course, you have the value because the Bucks. Are the Bucks looking to fully rebuild? Are they looking to, all right, we're going to fully tear this thing down and reset as best we can? Or are they looking to be, all right, we're moving Giannis, but we're still going to be competitive? If they're looking more, we still want to be kind of competitive, I think the Grizzlies have a better chance because, again, Bane, Morant, or Jackson would have to be part of that trade package. And those are guys that if you're bringing those guys in, you're looking more likely of, hey, let's try to, get some other guys around them and try to win moving forward. So that I think would at least kind of put them in the game. Whether they go there or not, I don't know. That doesn't scream the organization's MO over the last few years.
Keith, I got to give you credit. You recognize the prowess of Oklahoma City a long, long time ago. I was out there. I didn't argue with you, but I was saying I think I would take Cleveland in a potential finals against Oklahoma City. You were right. I was wrong. Who do you think Oklahoma City wants in the finals?
I think they'd rather play the Knicks. I think they can give the Knicks a lot more problems. The Knicks tend to get a little sloppy with the ball at times, and that's how Oklahoma City beat you. They are the best team I have ever seen of turning a 5-point deficit into a 15-point lead. Then it seemingly happens in the blink of an eye. It's just they get out there, they start turning you over, they get those live ball turnovers. If it's at home, they get that building rocking, and everybody starts going crazy, and then the next thing you know, the game's kind of over, and you didn't even really understand what had happened in the course of play. And that's where I think against the Knicks, they'd have a better chance. I think the Knicks, too, as weird as this might sound, given it's a Tom Thibodeau team and some of their personnel, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would love going against Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, getting downhill for baskets, and the way they play. I think the Pacers are set up, even though they're not a great defensive team, I think the Pacers are set up to defend them a little bit better with their personnel that they have than the Knicks would be.
What did this series between the Knicks tell you about the Thunder, for the Thunder? What did this series for the Thunder against Minnesota tell you about not only the Thunder, but the Timberwolves. I'm seeing a lot of talk about this Timberwolves team, and it's every team once they get out of the playoffs. You have the screaming headlines about them being eliminated. But what did you learn, or what did this series tell you about both teams?
Yeah, the big thing it told me is, the Thunder are ready to win a title right now. Right? They've been ready. They're that good. Should be no more questions of are they ready, or they really at that level, and those kind of things. And then about the with the Timberwolves, it just gives you a sense of they're a player or two away to close the gap with teams like Oklahoma City. They're very good themselves. And I think next year, this also says, hey, we got to really be ready to go right out of the jump. And they making the big trade where you traded away Towns on the eve of the preseason and all that. That just made it a lot harder for them to kind of lock in those early months. But I think now what you're going to see with the with the Timberwolves is let's really try to get a good start to next year. Let's push forward. But they've got some challenges within their own roster. Naz Reid can be a free agent. Julius Randle can be a free agent. Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be a free agent. And that team's really expensive. So they've got some stuff to figure out to even kind of run it back with what they have. And clearly, I think Chris Finch was right on the money when he said, we have to play better moving forward because we've got to be a little bit deeper into our guys than what we were in this series.
Anthony Edwards' post-game comments last night, some saw it as indifference. How did you see it?
No, I didn't take it that way at all. I thought he was very much saying, like, hey, I'm going to be better. I'm going to come back, and I want to prove, like, this is where I am on this level. And I felt like he really did take it to heart in this series. And I think what we need to see now is we can't have you get into big moments in playoff series again, and you are only kind of out there. You're not taking enough shots. You're not that he was going through the motions, because that's unfair to say, but you were just kind of out there. Like you weren't playing with force. We all know what it's like when Anthony Edwards is playing with force. He's one of the very best players in the entire NBA. So that's something I think we need to see from him moving forward. Is like, all right, I'm here, and this is my team, and I'm ready to take us to that next level.
Mm-hmm. On the other side, the Knicks and the Pacers, I was talking about this with somebody earlier today about how 9-point win in the last game for the Pacers, but it almost felt like a blowout. The way that all of these games have played out with the comebacks and the last-second shots, it felt like that one was really easy for the Pacers. What have you seen from both teams in this series in the East?
Yeah, for that game, you're absolutely right. It felt like it was like between 8 and 12 points for 20 minutes of actual game time. And even when the Knicks made a little bit of a run, it still felt like the Pacers had full control. And that's kind of the big takeaway, is how much especially with Tyrese Haliburton, that they've been able to control the games. Their pace is either really fast, or at times it's I'm going to pick for a mismatch and I'm going to attack that way. But he has full control of these games now. It's played at whatever pace he needs it, whether that's game to game or even possession to possession. He's there. And then I think for the Knicks, you see at times, their offense is really good, but they can go in these droughts. And when they go in those droughts, their defense simply is not good enough to make up for it. I think they've really been hopeful that the perimeter defensive trio of Bridges, Anunoby, and Hart were going to be enough to make up for the lack of defense from Towns and Brunson, and it just hasn't been in the playoffs because these teams are just too smart about the way they attack you, and that makes it really hard on them.
With a NBA Finals win, that gets Rick Carlisle in the Hall of Fame, doesn't it?
Yeah, it should.
With winning one
that'd
in
be
Dallas.
2 titles for him, right? He won one with Dallas, or is that 3, actually? It might be 3. So, yeah, he would have to be really close if he's not, already considered to be headed that way as a coach anyway. But, yeah, I mean, really good coach, underrated, really long run, with the NBA with a lot of really good teams. It's hard to think of times when his teams, unless it was kind of intentional, have ever been, not very, very good.
Right. He has had a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's made some real adjustments that have made a lot of sense for the Pacers, kind of in the moment, where it's been things like, all right, we're gonna go to Tony Bradley as the backup center over Thomas Bryant. I'm going to pull Turner off the court at the end of games and run with Obi Toppin. Those kind of things. Going away from Benedict Matherin at times when it's felt like at moments in some of the games, Matherin's getting a little too wild and a little out of control, and I'll go with somebody else. I'm going to play a different guy instead. I think he's pulled all the right triggers, and the way he has that team committed, they know exactly who they are and the way they want to play, and that's been a massive part of them getting this 3-1 lead.
Brett mentioned this earlier about OKC, that it feels like, and we always kind of talk about how quick those windows open and shut, but it feels like the way that this Thunder team was built and still the stash of first-round picks they got. I saw someone point out, and I completely forgot about this, but they still have Nikola Topic, a lottery pick from last year that hasn't even played a minute for the Thunder because he's still recovering from an ACL tear last year. It feels like we're going to see a lot of the Thunder for years to come.
Yeah, so my tweet about that last night was they just made the finals. They have 2 players over the age of 30. 14 of 15 players are under team control contract-wise through 26-27, whether that's their contracts or with options or restricted free agent status. They add Nikola Topic next season. They have the 15th and 24th picks in this draft, and they have as many as, between their own picks and other picks, 10 more first-round picks coming between through 2031. Like, it's ridiculous. They're so good, and everybody's talking about how, the tax is going to come for them. Because another thing that I tweeted out last night was, if the Pacers make it, since the luxury tax has been in place, which was in 2002, was the first year of it starting, we've not had a year where both NBA Finals teams were not taxpayers. Every other season, at least one of the 2 teams has been a taxpayer. 16 of the champions in that window since 2002 were taxpayers. And here you have the Thunder and Pacers. Neither one of them are taxpayers, and very likely to be the 2 finals teams. And for the Thunder, as much as the concern is the tax will come for them. It's going to come for them in a couple years. But what they're going to be able to do then is the guys who are like Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe and those guys who make 8 to 10 to 12 million, they're going to be able to trade those guys off because they'll backfill them with draft picks, and they'll just move forward that way because they've got all these additional picks coming their way. They're set up. I've been kind of preaching windows are not going to be as long as people think, but they're set up to really challenge that as best as anybody can over the next, let's say 4 to 5 year window.
It's hard to believe, but this window is more promising than the Durant, Westbrook, Harden window.
Yeah, it is, and it's also a very different environment now where now the team is fully established. I think the owners are not going to be scared away from paying the tax. They've paid the luxury tax. That's been always kind of one of the misnomers about the Thunder is that, they'll never pay the tax because they traded James Harden to avoid it. Well, that is true. That happened back in the day, but they've paid it since then because they've had very good teams and some pretty expensive teams. So they're just in a spot where I think, they're going to kind of do their thing where they just kind of keep this thing moving forward in a really good way. And that means, they're probably going to pay the tax. The thing that'll get them is, can they continue to build out the roster under the apron restrictions? And that's going to be a little bit more tricky.
It seems like Chris Paul might not be a part of the Spurs roster next year. Where do you think a good landing spot for him will be?
I mean, there's a whole lot of teams that make a lot of sense for him. Like, if he wanted to just stay in Texas and wanted to move over and play for the Dallas Mavericks, that would make a ton of sense because they need a starting point guard while Kyrie Irving recovers, and then Chris Paul could move into a backup role or still a high level backup role because they're going to need somebody for probably more minutes than what you normally would think of with a backup. But the challenge becomes is Chris Paul was very open when the Spurs season ended how hard this season was for him and how much he really didn't enjoy playing this year this far away from his family, who all stayed in the Los Angeles area. So I think you're going to look for him to probably move back towards the West Coast somewhere. I don't know that means it's necessarily the Lakers or the Lakers or the Clippers, but I think there's a chance what we see is, Chris Paul, it could be, all right, what does it look like with a team like the Kings if they could use, a real kind of more true point guard? Could that be a place where he goes, or is there, Denver, a little closer to home at least than San Antonio is? So there's a lot of places where he makes sense because he was still really, really productive despite his advanced stage.
Keith Smith, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, with us every Thursday to talk the NBA. I know it doesn't matter to you. It just falls however it falls to you. I feel the same way. But the league, are they ready for maybe not the criticism, but the examination of the NBA Finals in Middle America in Smallville?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to be. That's the real answer. And I think they've been preparing for this with the way it's been of, all right, well, we're building out these teams, and we're building out these teams with all of this, these apron restrictions and all that. We've been prepping for parity to be what kind of rules the day in the NBA. And I think for them, it's, you have to be ready, right? There's no other choice for that. I also think the NBA knows the NBA game is not necessarily consumed by traditional media. Not everybody sits down and watches on a television. That's part of why their rights were so heavily involved streaming moving forward, because they know a lot of people stream their games both here in the United States as well as around the world. They know that basketball in the NBA is the most popular sport outside of soccer worldwide. More people watch it than anything else. We get caught up in it because it's not at the level of the NFL in this country, but nothing touches the NFL except for maybe occasionally college football, and that's just kind of how it is here. But around the world, basketball is way more popular than football is. So we're just in a space where I think the NBA knows, hey, we got $7 billion in television contracts because these new TV partners and even some of the existing TV partners, they believe in what we are and what we're doing, and I think they're okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Keith, earlier this week we had the deadline for players that maintained their college eligibility to decide if they were going to stay in the draft or go back to college. Did any of those announcements surprise you?
Yeah, there were a couple on either side of the ledger. R.J. Lewis from St. John staying in the draft was kind of a surprise because I haven't heard it from a single team that considers him a draftable player. Not that they dislike him, but most of them are like, yeah, he's a straight two-way guy or a G League guy coming in. So I was a little surprised he didn't go back to college because all reports were he had a ton of money on the table to return to college. And then Yaxel Lenborg, going back to college when it looked very clear he was going to be a first-round pick. That one was a bit of a surprise to me as well, because I thought, all right, if you're a first-round pick, that's kind of the dividing line, right? Then you're going to come in, you're going to get about $5 million guaranteed over your first couple of years. But he's going to Michigan, and it sounds like he's getting a pretty good haul through NIL money at Michigan. And why not go there, play out a year, and then join up? And then the last guy I'll say returning to school, a little bit of a surprise too, was Alex Condon with Florida. I think he was playing himself right onto the verge of being a first round pick, but again, has a chance to go back, repeat. That's a loaded Florida team with a whole lot of talent. And and I think for him, it's again, I can make a lot of money in NIL, and I'll get back after it again next year.
And his new teammate Boogie Flan. Did Boogie Flan make the right decision, Keith?
Yeah, I think so. He was going to be a second round pick. He has a chance if he plays better and improves. He's going to be pretty good. And for that Gators team next year, don't cut out Xavier Lee, who's transferring in there from Princeton. That kid can really play. He's another good backcourt player. And I think there's a world where we're talking about him as a better player than Boogie Flan by the time we get into the college season. I'm really high on him and what he can do as a player. So that Gator team is, boy, they are loaded with talent.
Yeah, it's a great point on Xavier Lee. His Princeton team was not very good. He was fantastic. The team was not good. I saw a report today that combined between what Florida's going to pay him and he has a signature shoe deal now, he's going to make $6 million next year at Florida.
Good for him.
That's incredible.
I've been
Florida likes to win them in bunches. They won back-to-back before.
Yeah, and I've been saying for a while, the schools make so much money. Like, why don't the kids get a part of that? I remember this is going back a long ways, but this was when the Fab Five was at Michigan, and Chris Webber and Jalen Rose were talking about how they were selling their jerseys. I think it was for like $75 in the student bookstore, and they were scraping together change to buy a chicken sandwich.
Yeah,
like it's never made a lot of sense for me when schools are making so much. Why can't the kids share in that a little bit too?
And the NCAA could have, out of the Ed O'Bannon case, they could have headed this off at more simpler prices, but they didn't. They dug in, and look what it got them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the NCAA, in my opinion, they made long, storied history of doing everything they can to get in their own way, and it gets a little silly when we start talking about, but they're student athletes, and my thing is, if that's true, then why did Boston College and Cal and Stanford play in the same league? Because that's fine for football. You travel, at the end of the week and off you go. But tell me how that works for the college baseball team or the college volleyball team that has to travel cross country on a Tuesday night to play a conference game. Let's all be a little bit serious here. This is all about making money and nothing else.
That's it. Yeah. Get Mick Cronin started. Boy, he got hot all year
hot
over
about it. He sure does. Yeah. I mean, Cal starting their conference tournament game 6 a.m. local time in California. I mean, that just does not make any sense. Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll do it again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Keith. Love having you. And he mentioned the NBA's new deal. It's $7 billion a year, 11-year deal, $77 billion total, and there are clauses in it that it can go up at the end. Yeah. It's not going down.
No.
They're going to get $77 billion over 11 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. We talk about it so many times of just, what they were able to command, and it's going to look a lot different. Watching these games on TNT, these final playoff games on TNT.
We will find it. We will get used to it.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably going to be easier to find. I mean, with it being NBC, with it being ESPN, obviously Amazon Prime is going to be different.
So tonight could be it for TNT.
Certainly could be. Yeah, because finals are on ABC. So, yeah, I mean,
but we will get them.
Sure, yeah. No, we will still see that crew. But, yeah, I mean, it has been...
including Ernie Johnson.
That's right. Yeah, the whole crew is going to be going over part of that deal where TNT's going to get some college football games, and in return, ESPN gets that crew for basketball. So it's going to work. And that was another thing today, seeing the start times, is seeing some of those games that will be on TNT next year.
If we can find the CW, we'll find the games.
And we
wherever they are,
easy find the CW.
We will find them. 2026 already here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Head down to All-Star and drive one of the all-new 26 Equinox or a Silverado if you'd like. Nobody with more new Silverados than at All-Star. First exit after you cross into Mississippi on Highway 78, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where all the Chevys are. May is your month. Still time to finance your new Silverado as low as 0.9. Less than 1%, your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star. And if you're law enforcement or a recent grad, a lot of those, educator, military, healthcare worker, first responder, instant extra $500 bonus back on every purchase. All-Star with every pre-owned truck and SUV you can imagine. If you don't see it on the lot, ask Jeff or ask Drew or any team member at All-Star. They'll find it, and with their contacts, they'll have it here fast. Any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, and you'll get the most money back for it from All-Star, even if you didn't buy it there. Wherever this summer takes you, Drew DePriest and everyone at All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch wish you and your family happy and safe travels. Start those travels at All-Star, and for more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to grab another break. When we come back, we're talking SEC league meetings going on down in Destin. We'll talk about not much news, a lot of quotes, a lot of what-ifs down there in Destin. But we'll talk all of that with Trey Schapp from 103.7 The Buzz next on Sports Time.
Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes some special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SCO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelets, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
This rebel young is back. Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports flow, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff to free-throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 live 6 a.m. and 98.5 FM. South Sports Station.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's been a little bit slow as they clean up this truck crash over here on 40 going eastbound, right near Austin P. Highway in Jackson. Again, it's been limping along over here from Covington Pike all the way up to Jackson, going westbound I-40. 40 east has also been slow because of some road work coming over from West Memphis as you head towards the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Again, that's going eastbound on I-40. That's been slow for, 3 hours or so. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says not a problem. Call Lawn Solutions right now here in Memphis at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back into Sports Time. Bryant Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Joining us now to talk some SEC, Trey Schapp from 103.7 The Buzz. He joins us. Trey, thanks so much for joining us. SEC meetings going on in Destin. As Brett says, a lot of noise down there, a lot of quotes, but not a lot getting done down there. What is the biggest thing that you've seen out of Destin this week?
I think Stats is right. I mean, the best news is the fact that if you're going to storm the field now, there's no incremental payments. It's $500,000,
$500,000.
Yeah,
we used to pay the coaches that.
yes, 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah,
you might have a head coach that might be making specifically. I mean, in basketball, and now you've got assistant coaches in football that are pushing $2.5, $3, $4 million.
You got people we don't even know what they're doing making $1 million.
Oh my gosh, that's the thing, is how many people does it take to run an athletic department? And here we are talking about this house settlement issue. Eliminate some of those positions, and you might be able to fund that.
Yeah, nothing's getting eliminated.
No.
That's kind of the Alabama building way, and everybody's going to have more analysts. So this week we've had the TV news. Do you think that Greg Sankey, does he want the heat that comes with being the leader of college football?
I think he's okay with it. I think he relishes going in front of the media and talking. I think when you are in the position that he is in, and you are the league when it comes to college football, although some say that the Big Ten might be pushing it now, but the metrics that they showed us this afternoon, they're not there yet, Stats.
They're not there yet. The 8-game schedule lends itself to that, and I saw a lot of those numbers out. I don't have any trouble with saying the Big Ten is pushing the SEC. Yes, they've won the last two. Now I have 18 to 20 before that, but they're also making more money on their TV deals. I think I know they're on a wider variety of name brand places. Most of the SEC is largely at Disney, ABC, ESPN, SEC Network. I don't have any trouble with saying that they're 1 and 1A, and I don't care who 1A is.
No, you're right, and they are. I mean, you've got Fox, you've got the Big Noon Friday, then you've got CBS, and you also have NBC and Peacock and the Big Ten Network. When you look at the Big Ten, and obviously, you look at what CBS gave up from the SEC to go to Fox. And their first game this year is Nevada and Penn State.
Yeah.
And you gave up games in the SEC for that?
Yeah, if I were Gary Danielson, I'd be ready to retire too.
Oh, yeah, what were you thinking? I mean, that's ridiculous. So saying that to say this, I think the Big Ten is pushing the SEC. If the SEC goes to a 9-game conference schedule, you're going to have 8 teams that lose another game every year. And do they really want that right now? They're using the talking point of, we want to see what the CFP selection is going to look like in 26. Does it go to 16 teams? And are we guaranteed spots before they make a decision on going to 9 conference games?
What do you think is the model that leaving Destin is the leader in the clubhouse? The 5+11 or sliding or what?
I would think it's the 5+11, but if you talk to Lane Kiffin, he's just, let's seed them all 1 through 16.
That was mine, and I promise you it was mine, independent of knowing that Coach Kiffin was for that. What are you for, Trey?
I would like the 1 through 16.
Me too.
Why not just and let's take it out of the selection criteria, and can we just go straight numbers?
Yeah.
You've got AI now and all this other stuff. Why not just plug in numbers to a computer, they spit it out, and that's what you go with. That's what you did with the BCS. Why would that not work here?
I want that, and if in one particular year there's 9 from the Big Ten and 4 from the ACC, well, that's 13. There's 2 from the SEC and Notre Dame. Then get better.
Yeah, play better. You're right.
Don't lose at Norman, Alabama. Don't lose as a 16-point favorite at home, Ole Miss. Get better.
Don't lose at Vandy in Nashville.
Don't lose at Vandy.
Yeah. Trey, I love what you said about, like, let's have something that we're looking at. Last year when it came to the college football playoffs, it felt like every week it was different things they were looking at. We had no idea what are the metrics you're actually looking at. Like, give us something that we can at least know this is what you're looking at to rank these teams. And then, yeah, just give us the 16 best teams. That feels like the easiest answer, but we know the NCAA doesn't always, in college football, doesn't always go with the easiest answer.
Yeah, they don't always go with the easiest answer, and that's where I think, you've got people that are in there, and let's be honest, let's be frank about it. The NCAA basketball selection this year, everybody thought North Carolina shouldn't have been in the tournament, but who was on the selection committee that helped get them in their tournament? I get it. He left the room when they discussed his team, but you can't tell me that there wasn't an influence in there when his team is one of the last ones in, that the guys in that room are thinking, well, let's get him in. Jeff Long, the first year of the college football playoff, was the chair of that selection committee. Arkansas women's basketball should not have been in the NCAA tournament, but they made it in because they thought, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours over here. Don't tell me it doesn't happen, because it does. Stats, guys, the optics, the metrics, they don't look good from the outside looking in at that.
They don't, and we know that happens, and we know why that happens. And Bubba Cunningham had the heat this year over North Carolina, and then Ole Miss beat them after they, I guess, North Carolina won in Dayton, and then Ole Miss played them. So
and then Chris Beard just did what he did and wins and got his team to the Sweet 16.
You know him well.
Second time in history, right?
Yeah, and Beard was happy with it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
what was he like to be around in Destin? Was he pretty relaxed?
Oh, he was relaxed.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to sit down and talk with him like I have before, but we said hello and everything, and how are things going. I talked to him about Little Rock baseball being in the NCAA tournament because Coach Curry was the baseball coach when Beard spent his 1 year at Little Rock and got them to the NCAA tournament and won a game in Denver that year. I did have a little more time to sit down with Porter Mosier, who is also a former coach at Little Rock, who is was able to take Oklahoma to the NCAA tournament, lost to Baylor, but got them there. Or no, Mississippi State beat Baylor. Oklahoma lost. I can't remember who they lost to, but they
all
lost
runs through Little Rock, doesn't it?
That's right.
It kind of does, I guess.
And Coach Curry's team all got healthy at the end of the year, and that's how they got high in the OVC tournament.
Yeah.
That's last year. They were the number 1 seed. They won the OVC, and then they got bounced out of the tournament. This year, they go up there. They win the first. They had to win 2 games in one day. Got a complete game from Jackson Wells in game 1 to get them into that second game, and won it against, I believe, SEMO, and then were able to just rattle off and win 5 games in 4 days.
How much pressure is Dave Van Horn under for this Razorback baseball run, Trey?
I think he's got to get to Omaha. I know there's a lot of pressure up there, and some people are, when you look at it, the pop fly in 18 is still in the back of everybody's minds. And I know that's a meme that's out there now. I was there. I mean, I had a good friend of mine that said, "Hey, let's go." My dad and I were going to drive up there. It was a Father's Day gift for my dad. We were going to drive up there, and a buddy of mine said, "Hey, don't drive. Hop on the plane with me." And so we did, and we stayed up there. We went to all 3 of those games. We were even in the stadium on Monday night when the rain postponed the game to the next day. So we stayed up another day. So it was like, okay, I got to fill out a new PTO form. But we were there, and it just, the air from the Razorback side of things went out of TD Ameritrade when that ball was dropped. And I just thought that was the chance, and they just missed it.
Who was the most comfortable coach in Destin? Who's the safest in their own skin in the SEC world?
All sports?
Yep.
Calipari.
Yeah.
He's got a reason.
Rick Barnes.
Yeah.
Rick Barnes at Tennessee. You look at, let's go football, I would think Kirby Smart.
With all those
players.
I mean,
I guess that's easy. I guess that's an easy answer. I mean, let's go who's on the hot seat or who could potentially be on the hot seat. I think you start in the state of Arkansas with Sam Pittman. You start in the state of Alabama with Kalen DeBoer. You stay in the state of Alabama with Hugh Freeze.
How was Coach Freeze?
What about Stoops? I only stats, and I hate that I couldn't talk to him about, an acquaintance that you guys both know. Unfortunately, it passed away. My thoughts with you guys on that. But I was getting an interview with him, just a scrum, as we call it in the business, and then all of a sudden I had to be pulled to another interview, and so I really didn't get a chance to just sit down and talk with him. Sometimes when they leave those meeting rooms, they put the cell phone up to their ear. I mean, the screen's black, but they're acting like, I'm on the phone while I'm getting to the elevator.
Yeah, that's their move to get away. October 25th, Auburn in Fayetteville against the Razorbacks. That really is a game that could decide Sam Pittman or Hugh Freeze's future at both places.
I'm going to take it a month earlier, the trip to Oxford, Mississippi, which is a 6 or 6:45 kickoff for the Razorbacks, followed up the next Saturday by a trip to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium in Memphis. Arkansas drops those two games and then comes home and loses to Notre Dame. The door could be starting to open on Sam Pittman on the way out. And I'll even take it a week earlier than that. If he loses to Arkansas State in Little Rock,
oh my,
that's a big one.
Ooh, that would not be good.
Trey, very well done. Arkansas boy had to get Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium right, or you would be hearing from George Macris.
Mr. Macris is a good friend of mine, and I love helping him out and my duties for the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens, which, by the way, is on the PGA Tour Champions at Pleasant Valley Country Club.
Nice.
How about that?
You got it all in. Go ahead and get your podcast commercial in. Right. Trey, go ahead. No, do so. Tell everybody how they can listen to your golf podcast.
So, from the short grass, it's weekly, and this week was Tim O'Neill. He won on the PGA Tour Champions last year, right before coming to Little Rock and playing, and that got him in the event in Little Rock because it's a playoff event, guys, so top 54 make it. He was on the outside looking in, one up in Virginia, and that got him into the top 54, so he was able to make it to Little Rock last year, but have had great guests. Stats, you've been a guest of it. I talked to Harold Grader. I'm going to come over to Memphis and get him sometime this summer to talk about the FedEx St. Jude and the fact that the tournament that the Liberty, that the AutoZone Liberty Bowl puts on, golf outings that they do as well. So looking forward to that. And lots of good guests from baseball, Albert Pujols, John Smoltz, Greg Maddox, to football, Tony Romo, David Pollock, you name it. They're all there.
I was in the Cardinals clubhouse one day when some golf company had sent Albert Pujols his new driver.
Oh, man.
I can assure you it's a lot longer than the ones we had tried.
A little bit stiffer.
Yeah.
I believe
he can swing it. I've seen him swing a golf club. He is good.
Have y'all caught him on MLB Network in the morning? On the morning
I
show?
have not.
He's really good.
I have not.
Very comfortable.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
He seems comfortable. He seems comfortable. I mean, when we sat down and talked, he had a cold beer in his hand and was really comfortable.
Second best right-handed hitter ever. Hank Aaron first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you ever tell him he's going to be a next big league manager?
I did not.
You missed on him.
He wasn't here long enough.
He wasn't here long enough for you to.
He was here a cup of coffee and the big home run.
Let's try it. But hey,
no doubt about it.
Seems like he's well on his way to being a big league manager
Trey.
if he wants.
Great to hear your voice,
Trey. As always, thanks for joining us, and we'll definitely do this again
You
soon.
bet. Hey, looking forward to it, guys. Brian, Stats, y'all have a good one. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Trey, right back at you. Trey Schapp joining us to talk all things SEC with meetings. Didn't ask how the future senator is doing, if he's having a good time down in Destin. Old Bruce Pearl.
Right, maybe so. That's building steam.
It's weird. It is.
You know who would be coach at Auburn? His son, Stephen, would get the job. I think that's pretty set anyway. Yeah. I'm not wild on that.
Well,
but I think he's earned it.
Yeah, there's very few that I think
Bruce Pearl has earned.
Bruce Pearl is
having Stephen get because he's put Auburn basketball in a place it had never been.
And we're seeing, we're seeing a lot of that. I mean, heck, I think just this offseason we've seen 3 or 4 mid-major head coaches taking assistant jobs to be that coach in waiting. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't mind when it's the very few. Kelvin Sampson, we already know that's in the contract for his son to take over when he retires.
I think he's earned it.
Those two have certainly earned it. Not many more behind that. It's a very short list, but those two, I think, have absolutely earned that spot in having their sons take over if that's what they want to do. Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family. But hurry, the best pricing of the year ends May 31st. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Volkswagen has the lower cost of maintenance across 24, 25 lineups compared to 24 Toyota or Honda, so it's obviously the smarter choice. So get on over to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online, GossettVWG.com, and be sure to ask for Marty McMahon.
You got that right, Randy. So come see us at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. And remember, your future is what you make it.
Everybody, 2026 is already here at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Come out today and drive one of these all-new 2026 Equinoxes. Did you say Silverado? Nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star. I'm out here in Olive Branch today where all the Chevys are. And May is your month to finance your all-new Silverado as low as 0.9. That's less than 1%. And your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And All-Star has every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it here, ask Jeff and he will find it fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. So wherever this summer takes you, Drew and everybody here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family a happy and safe travels. Together, let's drive. Visit All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses, any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Pick up your phone, call 901-406-1101. It's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses, guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. Bill and I buy houses. Sports Time on Sports 56 and
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, I got a baseball big number for you today, Brett, and it comes...
I've got a decimal point.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Unfortunately, I do not have a decimal point in my big number, but this comes from the Kansas City Royals. Their young starting pitcher Noah Cameron made another start last night for him, and he is just the second, I guess I should say my big number before I get any further. 2 is my big number. Noah Cameron of the Royals is the second left-hander in MLB's modern era to pitch at least 6 innings while allowing no more than 1 run in each of his first 4 career starts. So in all 4 starts, at least 6 innings and 1 run or fewer. He has done that in all 4 of his first career starts. The only other lefty to do that in modern era MLB history, Fernando Valenzuela. In 1981.
That was a breakout year.
That is great. A great group to be in when it's just you. And
that was Fernando Mania.
That's right. So that is a nice spot to be in if you are Noah Cameron, the young lefty for the Royals.
You don't drink Coca-Colas, right?
I do not drink Coca-Colas.
So I'm trying to come up with some bet in the break room for you.
Okay.
Name Fernando Valenzuela's only career no-hitter was against?
The Oakland A's.
Incorrect. Landon, you drink Cokes? We've bet Cokes before.
Yeah, I've bet
We have, but I'm more of a Sprite guy.
Okay. I'll go Sprite.
I like a Sprite. I'll drink a Sprite.
Padres.
St. Louis Cardinals.
I don't know why I didn't guess the Cardinals. Why in the world did I not guess the
And later he was a Cardinal.
Yeah, that's right.
He's kind of the immaculate grid guy. Cardinal
He sure
Dodgers.
is, that's right.
Cardinal Dodger immaculate grid. Been on both. I always use Kenny Boyer.
That's a good one.
And
It's a really good one.
it's like 0
Oh,
point.
yeah,
It
nobody touches
always.
that one.
My big number 18.25. In the 4 Oklahoma City Western Conference final wins, they defeated Minnesota by an average of 18.25 points. Dominated them. Got beat badly in one, but it was pretty much easy.
Yeah, I mean, they made it look so easy. Last night, that closeout game, I think we all expected that they were going to get it done, but I don't think we expected it like that.
Wives and significant others, in some cases maybe both, making Cabo plans by the end of the mid-second quarter.
Well, I think after that
Minnesota.
that 9-point first quarter, I think they're on.
Book it.
I don't know what website they use, but they're scrolling trying to find
Cabo.com.
Yeah, they're trying to find something because that was over real quick and it was ugly.
But Minnesota, good year, great year,
really good year, and I think
can take a lot of pride in being in the Western Conference Finals,
and I think
winning a game.
That's right, and I think have a lot to build with. I think that team's only going to get better.
Woke up to the Anthony Edwards quotes. I didn't catch them last night post game. Woke up to it and kind of the scream fest it caused. I'm with Keith Smith. It just didn't bother me.
No,
he's 23.
Exactly. I mean, he's young, and
if he's saying that at 28, okay,
sure,
we got issues.
Sure, but I mean, he's still very young in his career, and he is a guy that is very genuine with how he talks with the media. He just kind of says what
we don't want the truth from him. He gave us the truth. It made us mad collectively. Didn't
exactly.
Make me mad.
I mean, he is never going to beat around the bush about anything. He's going to tell you what's on his mind.
He's pretty nonchalant about it.
Really, he really is, and that's just who he is. And it feels like when he's saying things that we think are funny or cool or whatever, then we're like, oh yeah, Ant, I love it. Ant-Man. That's you've been getting it wrong, Brett, because that's what I saw on ESPN this morning. I wanted to correct you. Ant-Man is what we're calling him.
I'm very sorry.
But when it's something like that, everyone's like, I can't believe he's saying this. It did not bother me at all. But we got to get to a break. Before we do that, let me remind you this week, in perfect opportunity to head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for some of the biggest brands in Western wear. They're the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, and they've got you covered covered with plenty of other brands with their thousands of shirts and jeans. You need a new pair of jeans? Well, Frontier has you covered from the biggest brands like Ariat all the way down to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect style and size for you. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road, and while you're there, check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dam Post, and Durango, just to name a few. Head down there to Olive Branch and check out the whole selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Frontier Western Store. Well, let's wrap up this second hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking Tigers with Greg Gaston.
To Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Cat bones, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appleton.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Metis today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call them 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom-made solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is the Message Church downtown Memphis.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Good afternoon. Starting to build right on schedule, trying to get down through Midtown on 240 southbound as you work your way past South Parkway. It's also picking up over here with a little bit more volume on 240 east from Mill Branch out to 385 Billmore. Parkway still moving at the moment as you head on out towards Collierville. Dandelions, crabgrass, lawn solutions here in Memphis says not a problem. Call these guys. They're the best and they're affordable. Call Lawn Solutions at 867-5626.
Original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Club City. Once again,
You say you stand by your man.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And it's been a lot of Tiger news. We got Tiger football news with scheduling today. We've got a lot of Tiger basketball news, even some Dane Danger news that I haven't brought up just quite yet. But every single Thursday afternoon, we talk Tigers and we do it with Greg Gaston.
From the Tiger sidelines, Tiger Talk with Rick Sports broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Nye Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter, @Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg, thanks for joining us. A lot to get to, more important things to get to than this, but I haven't brought this up today, and so I want to get it out there, get your thoughts on it. Jason Munns tweeted this out about 30 minutes ago, a picture that Dane Danja posted on his Instagram story of him in a locker room with Washington Wizards gear. It said Dane Danja held a workout with the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe it's Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if that says Wizards or Milwaukee. Held a workout with the Milwaukee Bucks this week. I'm told it appears he also got one with the Wizards. Sources add Plan A is still obtaining a waiver from the NCAA to play another season at Memphis. So Plan A, still try to play at Memphis, but it looks like Dane Danja doing what he needs to do in case that falls through and he needs to move to that next level and try to get something with an NBA team or something professionally.
Exactly right, Brian. Good afternoon to you guys, and thank you again for having me on. I think he's doing everything he needs to do. Here's a guy who would love to come back to get the one more year. He's not in the portal, so it's not with any other school. It's Memphis, or it's hopefully for him, professional basketball in the association, if not somewhere else professionally. The way he finished the season last year, what he was able to do at Memphis, I'm sure he opened some eyes, but it makes sense because this is the time now where these type of players get workouts with teams. He wasn't at the combine. He's not in the draft. So there's a lot of things here that they're going to look at as far as the possibility of, somebody who, if he's not given the waiver, could be drafted. Or you're looking at a free agent, and you're looking at a guy that could be a candidate for a two-way. So there's a lot of things at hand. And like Memphis couldn't sit and wait for the roster while waiting for Haggerty, Dane Danja certainly can't wait, because you never know when the NCAA will act upon the waiver request. It could be months from now, so you need to make sure that you're doing everything you need to do to get yourself in the best possible situation you can.
Greg, if he returned to the Tigers and he had a year, let's say the average points goes up 2.5, 3 points from this year's number, kind of the same for rebounds, does that get him drafted next year?
I don't know. It's tough because he's not the biggest guy, but he's not small. It's not like he's a big 3-point shooter from the outside, but yet can hit outside shots. But his moves in the post for a big man, the way he can move, his feet are incredible. He obviously has the ability to block shots and rebound the basketball. I just don't know. I haven't heard anything, and I guess we will if information leaks out about the evaluation on how he did and how he's perceived. But I don't think it's out of the question, Brett. I really think, like I said, he opened some eyes with the way he played from, let's say, January 1st on, really put it into another gear. I just like the way he plays a little bit of old-style basketball infused with a little bit of the new style.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back
I mean,
to the
and
basket.
again, but he moves, though, better than just about all the post guys of recent memory. Now,
Sure
those
does.
guys, in this day and age, right, Brett, they could step out and bomb threes like it's nothing, and that's not Danger's in his DNA, but he's still capable of hitting those shots every once in a while. His thing is inside. The question is when he's maneuvering against Chet Holmgren or Wembanyama or anybody with Edie. I mean, what kind of ability will he have to finish against guys that are that big?
Yeah. Well, we got the news earlier this week. P.J. Haggerty, a kind of a 2-in-1 tweet Monday afternoon. He had taken his name out of the draft and had committed.
But we
to
knew it.
Kansas
Greg
State.
Gaston told
That's
us
right.
5 weeks ago
That's right.
the ship has sailed.
That's right.
Yeah, look, it's you had to decide. You had to move on if you're Penny Hardaway. I mean, if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, then you're not going to have a roster. And so in fact, I think there were probably a couple of players that may have come to Memphis that ended up not coming here because they couldn't sit there and say, we can give you this amount of money, because that amount of money was being held for
He froze
PJ
the
Haggerty.
market.
Exactly. So And PJ did nothing wrong. He did exactly what he should have done. Jump into the portal. Take a look at what's out there. I know the old saying, the grass is not always greener, and maybe that's the case. Everybody wants to have and has an opinion about the decision that he made. But look, P.J. Haggerty, I'm sure, is happy. The guy's making reportedly $2 million, maybe $2.5 million if he meets incentives, according to Adam Zagoria. He's going to play in the Big 12. He's playing for a good program. Obviously, they didn't go to the NCAA tournament last year. Memphis did. Doesn't mean that will be the case this year. And who knows what kind of responsibilities he'll have with Kansas State. He wants to play more point. He wants to show his ability, ball handling and facilitating and shooting threes. We know he can score inside. That's going to be a lot tougher in the NBA at 6'3" or whatever he is. So he has to become a more well-rounded player. And maybe Kansas State gives him that opportunity to play that point where he was more a two guard, but a kind of a 1-2/1-2. When you have Tyrese Hunter last year, you're not going to be the point guard all the time. You do have the ball in your hands a lot of times. But I think he had to do what was right for him. He tested the NBA waters, went to the combine, did some decent things, obviously didn't get the feedback that he wanted, and jumped into the portal. The interesting thing was all the stories that were out there about NC State and some other schools, even Ole Miss's name popped up in Texas and Baylor. But in the end, it's Kansas State. Look, if the reports are true, and I seem to think they are, although I've heard conflicting things, but I seem to think that $3 million was originally offered, and then after he hemmed and hawed and wanted $4 million, or at least Pops wanted $4 million and waited, and then he was going to look at the NBA, that Memphis had to move on, and I think that's what happened. I do believe that Penny and PJ have a great relationship. I don't think it's soured one bit, and I'm sure he's wished them well in moving on to Kansas State. You just hope that Memphis doesn't meet Kansas State in the NCAA tournament.
And if the Tigers do, hope the Tigers beat the stew out of them.
Yeah, and Penny thinks that way as well.
Yeah, and he should. These players, they all think it's kind of a one-way street of, I can maneuver and maybe outfox you and get a little more money over here. But when you get out there between the lines, I'm going to try to tear your head off. It works. It's a two-way street then. Fun and games are over then.
And sure, you can, you might, and in this case, maybe he didn't get as much money as he wanted, maybe not, depending, again, on who you're listening to. But the point is, you can go out there and maybe get more money, and I'm not just talking about PJ, I'm talking about any player out there. But if you don't come with the goods, you'll get exposed.
Sure will.
And in the long run, your goal of making it to the NBA won't be there. You'll play professionally somewhere, but it may not be in the association. So, yes, you're going to get the money, but now you have to come with the goods.
And Greg, I think it's a central theme of all of us that love this and do this and like sports so much. We like the competition. We like the meritocracy. We know when somebody's playing because dad's the coach or you're a favorite alumni's son or something. And we know when you have it. And Penny Hardaway, if he plays him, he'll know his weaknesses and he will try to exploit them.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And
NBA personnel, they find out very quickly. Again, in that combine and playing those scrimmage games, they're not stupid. These are smart people, men and women who know the game like the back of their hand, and they can see very quickly. And then, of course, they can look at tape and the history and all that, but they can look at these players in live action and go, all right, we know he does this well. We know here he needs help. We know in this other area he just doesn't do it well. And that's why you get the feedback you get. Again, from the first couple scrimmages that I had heard, that I read about, I was actually out of town and I was reading about it. It was like, okay, looked like he did pretty good. Numbers looked to be pretty good. But in the end, the guy's going back to college, so it tells me, and I didn't see any mocks with him even in the second round, it tells me that he's got a long way to go. And I just gave you the areas of concern for P.J. Haggerty. There's no question that he can become better at everything because he's willing and able, and he's a very talented player. But again, you have to put the effort, and even putting the effort doesn't always mean it's going to turn into what you need it to turn into to become an NBA player. I wish him well. It was fun watching him play. He did a lot of good things for Memphis, but Penny Hardaway and staff had to move on.
They did. Greg, we love doing this, and I asked Bryant this question, and he had the best answer that you can have to it. I asked him right after the season, and I said, what's P.J. Haggerty's legacy? And he said, let me answer that after I know if he comes back or not. Well, now we know that he's not returning. He did make All-American. He was on a team that won 29 games. We know it's very different now. And it's kind of too soon to get too nostalgic about him. You have to have the sweet test of time. But in 15, 20 years, when people are discussing Tiger greats, even the one-year hits like Derrick Rose, like Tyreek and Larry Keenan, where will
Dewan Wagner.
Where will P.J. Haggerty land?
I think people, unfortunately, a number of them will forget what P.J. Haggerty did. P.J. Haggerty you can't take away from what he did. He was an All-American, but Derrick Rose was special. The team was special. This team was good that Haggerty played on, but again, losing in the first round of the tournament, if they had gone maybe to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, then you would go, who was the leader of that team? Oh, yeah, it was P.J. Haggerty. We remember him well. I mean, Dewan Wagner's name still pops up because it was early in Cal's career at Memphis. Dewan Wagner was a legacy, Milt's son and all that, and he was highly regarded coming in. So I think he can kind of slip through the cracks when you start thinking about all those players that have come through and played at Memphis.
Here's a tough one. High hard one. More fan favorite, Kendrick or PJ?
Easy, Kendrick.
No question about it. I would even say DeAndre Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he played more than 1 year. Yeah.
Sure. No. I'm just saying, like, kind of in general over the last. Penny Hardaway's teams. I mean, there are a number of. And again, I don't want to make it sound like we're piling on PJ. PJ, I think, did everything that he, maybe was steered in the direction.
It's not sour grapes. I don't detest him.
No. And again, look, I don't know how much is going on behind closed doors with Pops, and you only read what you read.
Mm-hmm.
Was he steering the ship? Did PJ want to ride on that ship? Was he more willing to come back to Memphis for the initial offer? I don't know. Maybe
we'll find out one day. Maybe we
won't. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Look, he was fun. He was a really cool guy to watch. He would score, and that's what you needed to do to win games. And he came up big time in a lot of those games. But in the end, again, a very good season, a disappointing finish. And I just think 25, 30 years from now, you'll look back and you'll rattle off the one and dones, Derrick Rose, Dewan Wagner, and others. Was Tyreek one or two?
Tyreek was one.
Yeah. Those names, I think, will be rattled off before PJ's name.
I think so, too. Good thing about it, Greg, 20 or 30 years, we won't be in the middle of the discussion.
I know. It's sad. Sad to think about it, Brett.
We're glad if you don't want to argue about it, then it could be a good thing to think about it. This is an impossible question to ask, and you really just kind of answered it, but it really feels like this was all kind of botched from the beginning in terms of P.J. Haggerty trying to get the most money, which is what it seemed like he was trying to do. He, instead of going out there right when the portal opened, he waits till the very end, enters his name in the portal when most guys have found new schools, have found new places to play. Then he's doing this whole, I might play college basketball next year. I might be in the NBA next year. He's going through the draft process. And I felt like all of that kind of limited him. He waited to take his name out after Darian Williams, who ended up going to NC State and kind of taking that spot that he was supposed to have at NC State. I really do think that in terms of that $4 million, if he had entered the transfer portal early, day one, early in the transfer portal process, he probably would have gotten close to $4 million because guys are just trying to fill their rosters. What do you think went into him waiting so long and kind of playing that waiting game before entering the portal?
Maybe bad advice. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors with Pops or the agent or anybody else, but yeah, the timing was not real advantageous for him. There's no question about that. And again, the assumption is Memphis offered 3, and he's working on 2, maybe 2.5 at Kansas State. Obviously, Captain Math will tell you that's less money. And if it was all about the money, yes, it's a bad move. But I don't want people to think, and I know people have written about this and talked about it like, oh, my gosh, what a disaster for P.J. Haggerty. He's only going to make $2 million, maybe $2.5 million playing the Big 12 for Kansas State. It's not the end of the world here. There's been a couple of other
We didn't make
athletes
that in
here
college.
I'd love to make 2.5.
No, we did not.
Basketball.
No, we did not. We spent about that much on beer, but we didn't really have our own money.
With inflation,
No.
we did, yeah.
Exactly. But there are other players, and we can go down the list from Nico to yours and with the Texas, and did they make bad decisions? Should they have gone somewhere else? Should they have stayed in college? You can play that guessing game all the time. So yeah, on the surface, not knowing anything else, the intricacies that was going on behind closed doors, it doesn't look good. It really doesn't. But again, he's okay. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, no question about it. He is going to be all right. Memphis added a depth piece to the roster pretty much right after the news on Monday. We got that news Tuesday afternoon that William Wharton was added, a guy that has spent the last 2 seasons at South Dakota State, was a redshirt the first year, played very limited minutes last year. We said they need bigs, they need guys in the front court. This is a guy that's 6'8" forward. What do you make of this addition?
I have to think that he comes with the recommendation from somebody, or one of the staff members knows of him and the potential. Because when you look at it on the surface, he averaged 3 points a game. He hardly played, and he's 6'8". It's not like he's 6'10", 6'11", so he's a wing player. You're right, size-wise, at least it's 6'8". It's not another 6'3" guy, but I don't know. I can't look at these numbers. I'm not going to sit here and BS and say I know who this guy is, but I got to think if Penny and Nolan and Mike and all those guys went out and got this guy, that somebody vouched for him or they knew about him, that there's potential.
Trust the
That's
staff.
what I can come up with.
That's what you can do. You can trust this staff. They've brought in players. They brought in a lot of players. Just trust them on this one.
Exactly. I mean, I learned last summer when I saw that. Now, granted, there were some names. You bring in Travis Hunter. You bring in Haggerty, obviously, after what he did his freshman year at Tulsa. You bring in Dange in. He had some good things that he did at Illinois. You had more of a connection there. And then I still wondered how that team would play, and then they came out and played like gangbusters to begin the season. Same deal this year. I'm looking at this team going, what? I don't understand it. But there's people making these decisions that have forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know, and I've been covering basketball a long, long time. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they know what the hell they're doing.
They want to win.
They want to win. They want to get back to the tournament and actually do some damage.
Yeah, they're not out there going, hey, let's go sign a bunch of bad players and only go about 18 and 14.
Exactly. We're throwing the season, man.
Yeah.
They'll never find out.
Not a chance. Penny Hardaway wants to win, and I think you got to trust his staff.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I would agree.
You even go back to some of those exhibition games last year, and it was coming out of it was this team can't shoot. Offense is going to be a struggle all
First half opening night against Mizzou.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then I mean,
right. And the other thing, guys, and I've said this on my show. I think this is maybe his most eclectic roster because you got guys from D2, you have guys from junior college, you have the return of Ashton Hardaway back for a second stint. I mean. So there's guys up here, they're mysterious. You don't know a lot about them. But who's to say that Felipe Patino isn't going to be like some great player? Sure. Or who knows what will happen with Mason Matthews? He starts burying threes at a 43% clip, and he played at Lane College, for goodness sakes. We just don't know right now.
Yeah. Wasn't Felipe Lopez or Patino on the cover of Sports Illustrated one time? As the next big thing?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you just described the way of the sport, the way of college sports now, and we just have to get used to it.
Oh, yes. And a lot of people are not getting used to it. They don't want to get used to it. They hate it. But I think that's probably more old school, and I'm an old school guy.
Greg,
I'm an old school guy. Right?
We both are, but we're open to this, and not just because we're in this, but we're open to it. The 50 and up crowd, I mean, they can't wait to tell you how much they hate the current setup.
They absolutely despise it. But yes, it's more than just because we're in the business covering it. Look, I'm all for players making money, and I want to see some parameters. I want to see some rules. I mean, we'll see if that happens here over the next couple of years. But it is what it is, and you have to change with the changing times.
Quickly, before we let you go, times released for Tiger football.
Got you some start times.
6 on the slate, 3 early in the season, 3 late in the season. Any of those jump out to you?
Thanksgiving. Don't overdo it at lunchtime, Greg.
Man,
you got to work that night.
You do have to work
I know.
that
I was
night.
just thinking, will my wife want to eat really early on Thanksgiving? And I'm coming to the conclusion probably not. It'll probably be a late dinner when I come home. Nothing really stood out. I mean, I saw that the Troy game will be an 11 a.m. game, and that's a road game. So I think it's good to get up, take your shower, head on over to the stadium, and play a game early, and get back to Memphis early. The Tulane game, 8 p.m. ESPN, Friday, November 7th. That could be a very huge game when it's all said and done. Hopefully, great weather, big crowd on November 7th. But everything else that happens the first 2 months leading into the month of November will dictate how important that game is. Hopefully it will be as important as we think it will be.
Yeah, hopefully it will be. It's good. I love the Georgia State on the road and, in Atlanta, 6 p.m. That makes it a little easier to drive that day down there if you want to go to it. So, yeah, it was fun getting those start times earlier this afternoon. Well, Greg, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg Gaston joining us to talk all things Tigers. And right now, it's a lot of news with the Tiger basketball team, with guys being added, guys being subtracted, waiting to see what this final roster will look like.
And the whole legacy stuff with P.J. Haggerty, if in 5, 10, 15, 20 years he's not finally remembered, he did it to himself.
Sure.
He sure would have been.
And I don't think it will be anybody just going out there in 20 years going, oh, man, I hate that P.J. Haggerty fella.
Will be if Kansas State knocked the Tigers out of the tournament.
Sure could.
7-10 game, and he goes off, and then in that case, but otherwise it probably shouldn't be that acrimonious. Yeah. We got to get used to that.
Sure. And I mean, you go back to it, again, Kendrick Davis, a guy that played at several other schools, but he ended his career at Memphis, and that's what gives him that boost over a guy like P.J. Haggerty. But yeah, outside of that slim chance that they meet up in the tournament, I think people are going to think back on him, fine. I just don't think he's going to be one of those guys in 20 years where people are going, man, P.J. Haggerty, best Tiger to ever come through here.
He did it to himself.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's
if he can live with it, we can.
Look, yeah, if he wanted to be somewhere else, that's fine. That's his choice. He has that opportunity, and hopefully for him, he has a great season at Kansas State. But before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com and head out there. Test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
You want it? We got us in a Gosling Kia 1900 Covington bike. How about a new ride for under $6 a day? 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $169 a month. And Peeps will be staring at your 2025 Kia K5 GT line. $185 a month. Plus, get vacation ready with seating for 8 in 2025 Telluride EX $378 a month with more power, larger cargo area than Nissan Pathfinder. All $49.99 to exciting 24-month lease, and they're all equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Go see Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online. KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 25840, K5 S5312 782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 must finance through KFA, excludes tax on license with approved credit, dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/2/25.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, no. But a box fan? Happily yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol and select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up.
Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. With over 175,000 cars served in our drive-thru, 4,000 online pickup orders, and 1,500 party packs delivered to offices and events every year. Corky's is your trusted go-to barbecue for parties. Our party packs start at just $6.99 per person. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 meat combos, pick your favorite sides, and as you know, Corky's always gives you plenty of food, so you never worry about running out. Whether it's pickup or delivery, we got you covered. Corky's makes it easy to impress your guests. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to order for your next gathering.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still some traffic trying to sneak out of Midtown here in the last few minutes on I-40 here up by Chelsea. 40 West is picked up at Danny Thomas, headed across the Hernando de Soto Bridge. A few rain showers out here in certain areas, some moving through Fayette County right now, and also south of Memphis. You may run into some rain in certain sections of 55, working your way down through South Haven into DeSoto County. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go by and see David at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. A lot of things trending this afternoon. Something that we haven't brought up yet, but the college football playoffs changing their criteria a little bit for the 2027 class, where instead of 60% winning percentage going down to 59.5, and that obviously Mike Leach, the big name, that helps out.
And Jackie Sherrill.
Yeah,
and I'm for it for both.
Les Miles, the third one.
It gets me in trouble with a lot of people between the late great Mike Leach and Jackie Sherrill, both famously Mississippi State coaches. But I think they earned it. Look, Les Miles, for however it ended, on a lot of regard, he was a national championship coach.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he was a heck of a coach.
And was a good coach at Oklahoma State in landing the LSU job.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a surprise. Never was one of my favorites, but I think to tell the story of college football,
that's right.
Mike Leach, Jackie Sherrill, and Les Miles are in that story.
Absolutely. And so definitely, especially with Mike Leach, I mean, the way that it ended for him, it was just unexpected and it was very sudden. And I think everyone knows that if he had been able to continue coaching, that he would have easily gotten over that 60% threshold.
He would have, and it really hurt State with the Zach Arnett hire was a hire they made right after the big loss. But that night in that game, great Egg Bowl. Yeah. And State won it in narrow, close style, as it seems like a lot of eggs end up being like that. I did not have the feeling leaving the stadium that night that I have now about it. It all worked out.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And
it usually will.
It usually will. And hopefully now Mississippi State is on the right track and can get some things going. But definitely cool to see that news earlier today. I know that means a lot to his family.
One of the kickoff times that got a couple got my attention about Mississippi State and my buddy Jeff Levy. Opening afternoon, 11 o'clock, opening morning, 11 o'clock, August 30th at The Rock. At Southern Miss.
Wow, that would be fun.
Down in the Piney Woods. It'll be hot in Hattiesburg at 11 that day.
But I don't think I'm supposed to be getting this excited for like these games and these start times on May 29th.
Football season never ends, I tell you that.
It doesn't feel like I'm supposed to be this excited. I want it to be tomorrow.
The very next week, they host Arizona State in Starkville.
Yeah, that's right.
6:30 game. I bet you they wanted that one I know it's hot in Tempe. It ain't Starkville hot in Tempe.
No. That dry heat, it's a lot different than what we experience down here, and certainly what they experience down in Starkville. So
it's not as juicy.
No. It's different. It is for sure different. So no, it was cool seeing all these start times, or a lot of start times being released.
I thoroughly messed up the triple header earlier, and I knew about halfway in that I had something wrong. 11 o'clock ABC, Bama, Wisconsin at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's got a ring to it, doesn't it?
It sure does.
2:30, Tennessee, Georgia at Neyland Stadium. Shields-Watkins Field, as John Ward would always say. That's got a ring to it, too.
It does.
And then that night, Florida at Baton Rouge, 6:30. Those two departments hate each other. Florida and LSU, it is very acrimonious. And, of course, LSU, they got an earlier start time against Louisiana Tech. The league's just not going to make them go out there in another swelter box like they did last year, because they want to keep the legislature out of it.
Of course. And it's getting testy down there for that legislature. But, no, that's a really solid triple header. And a lot of eyes going to be on those.
That's a day of football.
Saturday. It sure is. That's going to be a ton of fun.
Opening Saturday, 11 o'clock. The Battle of the Big Orange, the Syracuse Orange against Tennessee at 11. 2:30 will be Bama FSU. That night, 6:30, Tigers, Clemson and LSU.
Yeah, that's really good. That's exciting. I mean, with the SEC that it's going to be week in, week out, great games, and then everybody else. I know Ohio State fans not thrilled about all the 11 a.m. games that they're getting with Big Noon and everything. I've seen a lot
that goes with check.
It does. I mean, look, when a network, when you're the best team for a network and they label it Big Noon, guess what? You're going to get a lot of Big Noon games. And so, I mean, it's unfortunate. I know everyone wants night games, but that's what Fox decided, and they're the ones that pay the checks to the conferences.
And selfishly for me now, I'll get to watch every play of Texas-Ohio State. Right. Ole Miss won't play until 6:45 that night against Georgia State. I bet that's one of those that Ole Miss Network asked for that extra 15 minutes. I bet we go off at 4:30 for Ole Miss and Georgia State. So I'll get to watch all of Texas Ohio State. Yeah, I'm fine by that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just makes sense. If ESPN is doing the nighttime primetime game, why, if you're Fox, or I guess ABC would be the one doing the primetime game, but why, if you're Fox, why try to battle that when you can say we're gonna completely market
off the day
around, we're gonna be the first game that starts it, we're gonna have a big time game right off the bat. I thought it was a genius idea by Fox to do that, and it has some of those things along with it.
And all but a certainty that will be the last appearance for Lee Corso on game day. That it will be originating from Columbus.
Yeah.
There was even some thought to trying to maybe have him there, because that's where the wearing the headgear was born. Fly them, the whole crew, to Tallahassee for 6:30 Bama FSU, but they're not playing at 6:30. It's 2:30. So where he could kind of go, and then that would be going back home where he played at FSU, but they didn't do that.
That'd be a lot on him. That'd be a lot on the set. I mean, just on everybody as a whole with that group, that would be a lot. But certainly,
tears are going to flow that day.
Oh, it's going to be a bittersweet
around
day
college
for sure.
football.
It's going to be one of those really sad, but also kind of grateful days of, man, this was a fun time. But hey, we knew it was going to end at some point.
Everything does.
At least we're going to get one last send off, which will be a ton of
Friday
fun.
night opening weekend on Fox.
Yeah.
Auburn at Baylor.
Wow. That's good.
Both coaches need that one.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's huge for both sides. And, I mean, we've talked a lot about Auburn, and it's got to be a big season for them. I mean, at the very least, get to a bowl game. And, obviously a start against Baylor would be on the right track. You definitely don't want to lose that game, and same thing for Baylor.
Week 2, 6:30 ABC. Oklahoma hosting Michigan. That's two gigantic brands.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And, big year for Oklahoma. What can they do? They've got a new quarterback that they got out of the transfer portal, but it's got to be a big year for them. And so that'll be a big game. And obviously,
supposedly he can't miss.
Yeah, well, that's everything I hear about him.
We heard that last year about the Oklahoma quarterback. Now he's at Auburn.
Exactly. And man, it's a merry-go-round of quarterbacks. But no, and then Michigan, obviously, they've got a lot of excitement with their young quarterback, and
he can't miss.
And he can't miss. Well, all these quarterbacks. South Carolina's got a quarterback that can't miss. I mean, what's going on? I don't understand that, but no, that will be a really good game, especially with the early season quarterback play.
Klubnik versus Nussmeier opening night on ABC for LSU Clemson. That's early front runner for Heisman.
Sure is. The two guys that will be in the mix feels like all year if they have good years for Heisman. I'm sure preseason are going to be two of the names you see when we get closer to the season of kind of preseason guys to keep an eye on. And that will be a really fun game. Clemson, we always talk about them, but because Dabo is who he is and whatever, maybe it's part of how good they've been, but also how kind of a little quirky Dabo can be at times. He gets a lot of heat, and that program gets a lot of heat from the fans in general, but every single year he gets the job done. And
he'll run down the hill full tilt.
Of course, and get that little jump at the bottom of it. But, both those teams, you're expecting really big years for it. I think
he really has never changed. He was that kind of
he's always
juiced
been the
up
same
guy as a special teams player at Bama.
He's always been the same, but I think the big part of it is kind of what we always talk about with these evil empires of professional sports. They get so good. It's Clemson. Clemson has been the team that, man, they've been around, and their coach is kind of easy to poke fun at times.
And these teams, when they have success, they make that move from lovable to evil empire.
That's right. Yeah. I mean,
across sports.
It happens with everybody. And if you're that good and you are having that type of sustained success,
be the evil empire.
Oh, I love it. That's the thing is you always hate the evil empire when it's them, but when it's you're gonna love it.
They hate us because they hate us.
I mean, that's one of the things when whatever team it is and their fan base, it's like I understand it to a
Patriots
point.
fans went through it.
Yeah, I mean,
we talked about it recently. I mean, the Vinatieri's kick to beat the Rams. The Rams were the empire.
That's right. That is exactly right.
With Martz.
Yeah. So I mean, it's how it goes. But looking right now, right now the top 3 players in Heisman Trophy award odds, all 3 are quarterbacks. two you just named are second and third. First, obviously, Arch Manning at plus 700. Garrett Nussmeier second at plus 900. And Cade Klubnik third at plus 1100.
All three of those guys on the first big day of the year.
That's right. So that'll be a lot of fun and big time games. I mean, it's not a hey, let's slowly get into the season. It is ginormous games for all three of those guys.
And there's a lot of pressure on Arch Manning, but I've said it before. I'll say it again. That family eats pressure for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a midnight snack.
Yeah, I'll back.
He can handle it.
Yeah, if you're forcing me to back somebody, I'll back a Manning. They've got a pretty good track record.
Pretty unflappable.
Yeah, very, very much so. In baseball, just since we started the show, a trade has been made. It sounds like Alexis Diaz, the relief pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, is on his way to Los Angeles to join the Dodgers.
Dodgers need help.
They got to have help. And Alexis Diaz, a guy that they were able to get pretty cheap.
What did the Reds get back?
I think like a 14th round pick from last year's draft.
Why would the Reds do this?
Because he hasn't been very good for them, and so I think it's just they need to get rid of him and wanted to get rid of him and just kind of, hey, we'll get a guy that can maybe turn into something.
Reds are in the mix in the Central, aren't they?
It feels like everybody's in the mix in the Central. I don't think the Central's very good.
Cubs is the best team.
And I still don't know how good they are. I mean, they might be good enough to win the division. I don't think they make any noise in postseason play.
When has Doogie Howser ever made noise in the postseason?
That's a great point.
In Craig Counsell, ever.
It's a good point.
Anywhere.
Craig Counsell.
Only one place, Milwaukee.
No, I mean, you're right, but I have not been, anytime I watch them, I'm just not blown over by them. But that's just kind of the division as a whole. And right now, we're riding high as the Cardinals, but I never want to, I know we have fun with it, but I never want to get too fun with it because I know at any point that could just fall off a cliff and it could just go back to being.
I've got banners up, though.
No, you do. You were making one yesterday, actually.
Only two less wins than the Dodgers.
Waving the flag of, I proclaimed them World Series champs before the season started.
Where does an 11-time franchise world champion winner hang that we're only 2 games back of the Dodgers in late May? Where do you hang that
I think it's some deep storage closet that nobody has been in.
Down in Sykeston, Missouri?
Yeah,
that's
maybe,
where you hang it?
Maybe you go find some closet with the single A team and just put it in somewhere there in
Florida
storage.
Gulf Coast League.
Yeah. I don't think there's a marquee spot for that, unfortunately. But hey, keep waving that flag. Maybe it will pay off eventually.
I was wrong. Bowl news not tomorrow. Bowl news next Thursday.
Okay, cool.
on times and dates and stuff.
Cool. So a week from today, we'll have even more scheduling news, which will be
and more SEC scheduling news next Thursday, I think.
And maybe eventually some actual news when it comes to SEC and college football.
I'm waiting.
But, don't hold your breath on any of that. We got to get to another break. Before we do that, I know people looking for a place to watch a game, whether it's the NBA, maybe college baseball this weekend, or Major League Baseball. I've got the perfect place for you. You can watch all the action at Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley. Bell Tavern is the perfect bar for a night out with your friends or just to catch a game. And it's not one of those loud, rowdy, obnoxious sports bar. It's a perfect bar to just relax and enjoy the night. Enjoy a night at Bell Tavern with one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. And it's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580. That's 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. Let's get to our final break, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is, and has been for a long time, to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
K4 SEO 39894, MSRP 25840, K5 S5312782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, must finance through KFA, excludes tax on license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 6/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, the scoop is you get a 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than a latte a day at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Less than $6 a day at $169 a month. Plus a 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $185 a month. Got a big family? 2025 Telluride EX front wheel drive seats 8 and has more power and larger cargo area than a Nissan Pathfinder. That's 2025 Telluride EX, $378 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Forever, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting days with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses in the area. As is, it's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill 901-406-1101. Bill and I buy houses.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list, like this leaf blower. PayPal can pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I actually learned it over the weekend, but I haven't had time to bring it up, and today feels like the perfect day to bring it up because Ole Miss and Texas Tech about to meet in softball here in a couple of minutes. I read a story about this Texas Tech softball player that's making north of $1 million in NIL money transferred from Stanford to Texas Tech. Najari Kennedy, she is a pitcher for Texas Tech. Last weekend in the Super Regional, she threw every single pitch for the Red Raiders in back-to-back wins over Florida State and held the Seminoles, who are one of the better teams year in and year out in softball, to a 102 batting average in those two games combined to advance to the program's first ever Women's College World Series. Texas Tech has money, and they are willing to spend it on whatever sport they need
guy
to
that
spend.
sold his business for $4 million.
That's exactly
He said
right.
he wanted to win in everything.
Well, he's showing it.
Texas Tech's going to be in a lot of preseason mock brackets,
Yep.
college football playoff.
Absolutely will.
What I learned will be the last chance, I think, for the Garden to really rock well. Even if they win tonight, they probably get closed out in Indianapolis. When will it rock like this again in the playoffs? 1973. This time next year, it's going to be 53 years since they last won it. So when's the next time they really rock? They haven't gone full Cubs yet in the drought, but they're approaching Maple Leafs.
Oh, yeah, it's getting real long for them. What I could have done without this story earlier today that I saw on ESPN, an email was sent to Washington Capitals season ticket holders saying that next year would be Alex Ovechkin's final season in the NHL. Kind of an announcement email to all season ticket holders. 2025-26 season, the final one for Ovi. Well, the Washington Capitals had to apologize for that because
Ovi didn't know it.
Ovi did not know it. That is not known information to people. And I think what happened was, I think one of those employees, it was out of the sales department that sent that email. I think there were a couple emails saved in the drafts. I think one of them was the Ovi's retiring, this is the last year email because I think it's going to happen. I think the other one was, hey, renew your season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. He accidentally clicked the wrong one and the cover's blown, so get ready for it. I'm here to declare it today, 2025-26, the last year for Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah, got to be careful with what you have stored in drafts. I could have done without remembering when we thought we were equals with Oklahoma City. Remember when we thought the Grizzlies were the team to look out for in the West. Remember when we thought we had a big three. Remember when we thought Ja was the next superstar. Oklahoma City had all that.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and they've made it look easy. Where are you beaming tonight?
Madison Square Garden for their last game. New Yorkers once again kind of huffed and puffed and didn't really blow many people over.
No, they definitely did not. Beam me. How about beaming to some of this regional action tomorrow in the world of college baseball? 11 a.m. We get it started. We get it started with some of the top seeds. North Carolina, the 5th overall seed, they get started against Holy Cross at 11 tomorrow. Georgia, the 7th seed, they get started against Binghamton at 11 as well.
There's a budget battle.
Well,
isn't it?
yeah.
The Georgia Athletics Department compared to Binghamton's.
Yeah. I mean, they're going neck and neck. They're recruiting the same guys out there, Brett. But it is going to be. Speaking of that, I did see this video over
That'd be about $200 million to $5 million.
Yeah, I saw a funny tweet yesterday about how these guys are recruiting. It was for the college football video game. All the coaches were at one place. This guy went and asked Kirby Smart, "What's the biggest thing for recruiting?" He goes, "Oh, relationships. That's huge. We build relationships." He goes to Lane Kiffin and goes, "What's the biggest thing for recruiting?" He goes, "I don't know. You could do what Georgia does and just give them a bunch of money, and then they'll commit to you." So some funny stuff, but a good amount of stuff to watch tonight. The biggest one, though, being that game tonight between the Knicks and the Pacers.
Who will be guarding Tyrese Halliburton? So far, it hadn't been a very good job done with that. You mentioned all the college baseball before we talk again tomorrow at 3. Also tonight, Rays at Houston. Shane Baz versus Ryan Gusto.
Well, a couple young guys, you can learn
Get used
about
to
them.
them.
That's right. You can learn about them tonight. But a little bit for everyone to watch tonight. We got an NHL game tonight as well, Edmonton and Dallas. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Since 1948,